off guard there. I wasn't ready for it. So used to the music. How are we doing? How are we doing Sunday night? Okay, just say a quick hi to Paul. Paul B there, new member. Thank you, Paul. Just a reminder, we'll be starting the members live stream probably first week in April, okay? And God, getting warm in here already. Right, good to see a nice big crowd in here already. Nearly 100, nearly 200 in already. This could possibly be, more than likely is, it probably is, the last stream from here in this room where I've been doing live streams for 2 years and uploading videos about stories and 20 things not to do and scams, all the rest of it. Basically 3 years in this little space here. And what I've done, like I said last week, if you weren't in the stream then, I've actually filmed it. So, you know, I used to make a joke as I'm going out to water the daisies and all that. I started outside and I filmed it, patch of grass where I, do that. And then I've come into this room and I've filmed it with all the equipment in here and everything. It's not a real professional setup. It's just, typical YouTubers out setup, So I filmed it. So tomorrow I'm going to strip this room down. I'm going to reformat my hard drive because I'm going to give it to a charity shop, just one of these charities that they actually use it. And I've got a skip coming tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. So I'm going to be basically emptying this and then I'll film it empty again. That'll be another video for in the future. So I'm hoping it's not going to be my last stream from the UK. I'm at the airport next Friday. I've booked one night in a nice hotel at Heathrow. And then I hope to fly out to Thailand next Saturday. Business class, which I'm looking forward to. I've treated myself this time, always gone economy, and I thought I'd treat myself. And providing the hotel has a good Wi-Fi setup, and I suspect they will because they advertise it with free Wi-Fi, but if you want super fast Wi-Fi, it's £15, so I'll pay it, and hopefully we won't have any problems. Right, okay, so well over 200 in now. Let's start saying hello to everybody. I can see there was a little bit of controversy right at the beginning there. Tony Albie, that's a bit negative. I didn't see the comment that you responded to, Tony, but you said that's a bit negative. It's everybody's choice whether they would like to contribute to Peter. He has done a great job. Thank you for that over the last 3 years, especially during COVID. I think people were talking about the memberships, and somebody said there was somebody in there saying that he didn't want to buy a membership and everybody else shouldn't buy one. That was his opinion anyway. And I had a few people stick up for me there. Richard Woolley says, his name's BJJ50. Never heard of him. None of your business what people do with their own money. You should do. Yeah. Okay. So we just, it's up to him. Nobody's holding a gun to anybody's head, are they? Matthew, how you doing? Nice to have you in. Tony, that's another one by Tony. Right. We'll get away from this membership thing. Donald Trump, how you doing? Somebody's saying controversial post, disappearing already. Okay, I haven't deleted any comments or anything. I just came in and caught those few comments. Matthew Ward, Swaddy Cub, 3 games of football, F1 now ready for Thailand bound. Okay, great. Yeah, Steve from Yoss Travels worried me a little bit earlier. He sent me a text message. He said, I'm just watching the racing. I thought, not again. It's either, when I do a stream, it's either football, racing, motorcycle racing, something, horse racing, cricket. But it's all over now, thank heavens. I'll say hi to Franco. Hopefully he's in the background now. I went for, I met, it was really weird today because Franco and I were on the beach at Pattaya just, a month ago. We were there basking ourselves like 2 sperm whales in the sun, getting the rays, as they say. And today we had our coats on. We went down to our local kebab shop, had a greasy kebab, and reminisced about Thailand. So I hope Franco's in the background there somewhere. Damon's not here tonight. He's spending the evening with his brother and his mother. It is Mother's Day, of course. I know they're a close family, so he's told me he won't be in tonight. Oh, right, okay. And on a Sunday, I don't normally do any competitions, manga minutes or anything like that. But as it's the last one in here, I thought I'll do something slightly different. So what I'm going to do later on, I'm going to do a ladyboy competition. But instead of which one is a real lady, I'm going to have 7 ladies. And you need to spot there's only one ladyboy. So we'll do it the other way around, see if it makes it any easier. There's a couple of older manga minutes I've got lined up for you, a joke, just some messing about. But what I'll do, I'll start off by talking about what you want to talk in the stream tonight. Rub Lude, a lot of contribution from you tonight. I think you're the super contributor as far as messaging goes. There's a lot in there. Hi to Mark, how you doing? So I think you got the notification tonight, Mark. Good stuff, because you're in at the beginning. Martin Ryder, how are we tonight? Who else we got in? Brian Street, usual crowd. Lots and lots of comments from Rub Lude. I'm not going to read them all out. Right, who else we got? Who else we got? We've got to get past all Rublu's comments here. Lots and lots of them. No Name, how you doing? Good to have you in. No Name says Peter's last UK live stream. Not last UK, when last one in here, actually, providing I get good, good connection down in the hotel. What I've done this time, I mentioned on Friday, I've booked into a really good hotel at the airport, not a budget hotel, because I thought, right, this is it. I'm going. I want to treat myself, and I'm in a 5-star hotel, to be honest with you. And it wasn't bad at all. £130. I thought that was very reasonable. You have so many comments from this Rublude. Right, Kelly Harnett. Let's put that one up. Is it good weather in Thailand in October? Yeah, I mean, October, Kelly, is the start. It's the end of the rainy season, basically. It still can rain, but officially it's the end of the rainy season. And what happens as you go into October, that it starts to cool down. It kind of never becomes cool, as in cold, but it does get the temperature drops a lot. It can go as low as 26 degrees as opposed to 38, 40 degrees. It's actually very nice that time of year. So as you get into October, that's when people start to come over. It's very busy. Prices go up. Tourism, anywhere that deals with tourism as one of their biggest, it's not the biggest, but one of their biggest incomes. There's a fluctuation in hotel prices, restaurant prices. It's all supply and demand. So if it's high season, top prices, low season, the price will go down a bit. But in answer to your question, October is the start of the high season, end of the rainy season. As you get into November and December, then you're really into the high season. We've come out of the high season now. We're in March. The high season basically ends around the end of January, and it is starting to get hot. And one thing I noticed, Kelly, was that when I moved into my apartment in, I think it was December, beginning of December in Sukhumvit, I've got a balcony, and what I used to do, I had a routine. I'd make a coffee about 9:30, 10 o'clock when I woke up, whenever. I'd go out onto the balcony. It was very pleasant, little bit of a breeze, and I'd just go through the comments on my mobile phone. The last sort of couple of weeks before I left, I just couldn't do it. It was baking hot, go out there and you're just sweating cobs, so very, very, very hot. Let me just say thank you very much to Richard for the first super chat of the night. Thank you, Richard. I'll use that to pay for my internet when I'm in the hotel on Friday, okay? Because I was thinking to myself, should I do it or not? And I thought, well, £15, it's not the end of the world, is it? But thank you, Richard. Very, very generous of you. Okay, who else we got in? Let's have a look. Let's go back to where we were. Dutch Farang, how are you? I was talking about your comment the other day with somebody today, and we don't believe you're only 29. Do you remember at the end of the stream last week, people were telling everybody put their ages in, and most people kind of anywhere between 40 and 65, even older. And Dutch Farang said he was 29. We don't believe that, Dutch Farang. We just don't believe it. Okay, Matthew Cartwright, how you doing? Torchy, hi Peter, and hello to all the viewers. Michael said hi to you. What's that about the Swan Inn? Hi Peter, what's happening in Swansea in the house? Okay, yeah, I thought you said Swan Inn. That's where another person stayed. Yeah, house sale, it's all on. Hopefully Friday. Hopefully moving out Friday. If it didn't go through now, I'd be in the shit. I've cut my internet from the end of the month. I've redirected all my mail to my wife's house, her new house. I've informed the gas and electricity we won't be here after the weekend. We've paid £800 for the removal company to take all our stuff away. We're going to start chucking a load of stuff in the skip from tomorrow. By Friday, there'll be hardly anything here. So if it fell through, it won't fall through. Let's not even go there. I just can't believe this time next week I shall be in my apartment in Sukhumvit. I'm really looking forward to it. The other thing is, I don't know what it is, but since I've been back here, I've got really lethargic and felt really tired, and I've been having a lot of sleeps on the sofa in the afternoon, and I find it very hard to get off the sofa, and I don't know if it's just boredom or a change of diet. I'm not eating a lot of vegetables. I'm really out of shape now. I'm eating a lot of shit. And, I've got this plan. When I get back to Sukhumvit, I'm going to really get into a routine, use the gym, swim, cut down on my carbohydrates and all that. But for the last sort of 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I haven't been eating right, and I've just been lethargic. I've had 3 sleeps on the sofa today. It's terrible. Let's hope that changes when I get back. Paul Hoskins, do you get champagne in business? I believe you do, Paul. I've never flown business. That's a kebab, makes you thirsty. Yeah, I believe you do, because what happens, you must have been, you're at the airport, they say, could people sitting in rows to this one, to that one, can you now board the plane? And all the sardines stay seated. I was a sardine as well. but they let the business passengers go on first in class of business. Well, it takes about 45 minutes to an hour before everybody's piled onto that plane, put their bags away and everything. And during that time, I do believe they do bring round a drink, but I believe they give you a glass of champagne and a a bowl of nuts. But it's not going to be the same because it's I won't tell you that, as I'll give too much away. Right, the Big N. Hi Peter, I heard all the bars in Patong are now closing at 1:30 because they found underage girls in the Gogo bar. I did hear about the underage girls in the Gogo bar. They did a raid and they found some underage girls. Let me just say thank you to a very generous super chat there from Randy. Let me see, where is it? There we are. That's very generous of you, Randy. When I meet you in Bangkok, I owe you a couple of beers. And like I said to you today, when we have that little chat, there's no need for anything further. But thank you. I appreciate that, Randy. It's very kind of you. Okay, we'll still go back to everybody else comments. Now, what was I talking about there? This happens, you see, when I go off and say thank you for a super chat, I forget what I was talking about. Nomi Eye Inspector, how you doing? I'm just trying to find that. Right, there we are. Put that back up there. Yeah, so I'd heard about the raid. They did find some underage girls working in one of the bars, and I don't know if it was a Gogo bar or a beer bar. You said Gogo bar, so I've no reason to doubt you. I haven't heard anything about them closing the bars early. I don't really see how that would assist them in reducing underage girls. I mean, that's rare. You don't find these days. They must be desperate for girls because you don't. That's something I haven't heard about for a long time because the penalties are very harsh. Very, very harsh. Hi. And when you say underage girls, I mean, you're not talking about really, really underage, maybe like 17 or something like that. I mean, it's too young, obviously, but it's, we're not talking about children. Right, Clive Allen, hi, back from the Philippines. Okay, Clive. Who else we got? Travel mixtape. Peter, I'm in Thailand on the 1st. Wish I was on your flight. Yeah, is that that'll be the 1st of April, I guess, is it? Yeah. Well, I told you on Friday I only booked this flight because it was the last seat on the aircraft, and I thought, well, I better book it. Let me just say thank you to Mark Hanley there, the usual, mate. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I know it's the usual. You always do it. Thank you. Nice super chat there. Okay, I think I'm a little bit behind in these comments. So I might let's try and catch up where we were. Danny Rubini, is it? I'll put that out because I can't say your last name. Hello, Peter. When are you going back to Bangkok? Hopefully on Saturday. This time next week, I should be in Bangkok. Richard Woolley says, I still get it wrong, so I'm guessing you're talking about the Ladyboy competition. You might do all right tonight because it's 7 women, only 1 Ladyboy. We'll do that later on. Greetings from Tokyo from retarded Ladyboy. All right. Mark Hewitt, how you doing? Good to have you in. Paul Scarth, I said hi to you. Yeah, Franco's in. There he is. I should have put that video up, Franco, with you stuffing your face with a kebab this afternoon, but I forgot and I haven't got time to do it now. Johnny Red, that's a funny looking pint of Leo, Mr. Peter. Well, I'm on the Kronenbergs at the moment because I can't be bothered going up to the Aldi, and I haven't got any Leos. I'll be back on the Leos when I get back. Actually, I've changed now. I've gone from Leo to Chang. I just think Chang's a better beer. All right. Paul Lower, hard pink waving. Ken Christopherson, congrats on the sale, went through. Thank you. Not quite yet, Ken. As good as 99%. In theory, it could fall through, but very doubtful now. Right, let's get down to some of these later ones. Marvin, is it? Hello, SPJ here from the States, Dallas, Texas. Okay, good to have you in, Marvin. Joyous Roma, greetings from USA. Quite a few in from the States tonight. I suppose there's a time difference. It's a big country, isn't it, America? Rob Lude again, the real Dutch Frank, 8921. Hi, good evening. Right, Tony, Nick's. Right, what does that say? Nick Dean's bar was empty today. Dave was empty today for his life. More girls and customers. I don't know. I didn't catch his stream. I know they didn't do it for a couple of days, but you know what it is. A lot of the I won't mention his name, but I was speaking to somebody who's got quite a popular YouTube the other day. Well, last week actually, by text message, and he was saying to me, he said, "Oh, I'm quite concerned because my viewing numbers are down and my subscribers are down." And I said to him, "Look, don't worry about it because it's a time of year. I'm the same. My numbers are down, and it's the same for everybody. And how it works, YouTube's basically driven by advertising, isn't it? That's the vehicle that drives everybody, that develops the revenue. So if you think about it, what we're in now, March. So January, February, and March, it's after Christmas and New Year. This is a time when companies pull back their advertising budgets because there's nothing going on in January, February, March. After Christmas and New Year, everybody's maxed out on their credit cards. They haven't got any cash. They're not really doing their shopping. A little bit on the sales. And what you find is for us around sort of October, November, December, that's our best months because the advertisers pull out all the stops. It's their maximum budget goes in. That they put a lot of money into advertising, and then we see our revenue go up as well. And around that time as well, it's winter and it gets dark very, very early. It's raining in a lot of countries. You can't do anything, and people get fed up of watching the same old stuff on Netflix, and they just look for alternative bits and pieces to look at, and that's how it goes. And it doesn't worry me this time of year at all because I've seen it every year. It's a pattern. Okay, Terry Delve, how you doing? Mark Hewitt, bet you can't wait to get back to Thailand. Yeah, absolutely, Mark. Just because I'm so bored here, really. Jason, how are you? Better get a few extra beers. It's going to be 3 or 4 hour stream. Face blue, smiling, face blue, smiling, face blue, smiling. Now, it might actually be a little bit shorter tonight, Jason, because like I said, I'm feeling really... I've got a skip coming at 7 o'clock tomorrow, and I've got to be here to meet the guy, because the way my house is configured, he could accidentally put it on I'm on a corner, and it's not... When you come down, if you don't know the street, yeah, I've got a number on my door, but it looks like my neighbour's drive could be my drive, and my drive could be my neighbour's drive, if that makes sense. So I've got to get up. Right, Thailand found. Kelly Harnett, good weather, even... I'll put that up for there. That's for Kelly. Good weather, even if it rains, it won't last for long. The rain is warm as a shower. Yeah, they had a lot of floods last year. Johnny Wood, hi everybody. Richard Woolley, April was busy in Pattaya, yeah. Tony, grabbed a condo in the Edge complex for 3 months, 13,000 baht a month. That will be in Pattaya, right? Well, of course, it is cheaper in Pattaya as well. Right, Mark Hewitt says, do they have hotels between major cities like in other countries? They're everywhere, Mark. One thing you'll never not be able to find is a hotel in Thailand. They're absolutely everywhere. Different standards of, obviously, you're not going to find a 5-star hotel on the outskirts of some village up in Isan, but there's always hotels. You have small Thai hotels, but they're up to a decent standard. They're all pretty good, even the budget hotels. Right, Terry says, I'm leaning forward because I've had this chair for 3 years and the back's finally gone. And if I lean back, I'm like in a plane, and I'm going to go up. So I have to... It's really uncomfortable when I lean forward. It's not worth buying a new one, is it? Right, Terry, when I was in Pattaya, I was always up before the sun, coughing, relaxing, watching the city come alive. It's brilliant, Terry. It's brilliant. I'm a bit guilty of burning the candles at both ends, as it were. But I remember, especially in December when I went back, that was when the bars closed. They were closing at 9 p.m. So you had no other choice. What you would do is go out. When I used to be a serious kind of nighttime guy, going out drinking, I'd have dinner maybe about 6, 7 o'clock. I'd have a rest. I'd go out at 10, 10:30, and I'd stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning. And of course, you end up waking up late. But of course, when the bars close at 9 o'clock and you want to get a session in, so you're not going to go out at 10 because they'll be closed. So what you found you were doing, you were having dinner about 4, going out about sort of 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. The bars would close at 9. Then you might go and get a snack, a burger or something, and then you're in your you're in your hotel room by 10. And maybe a beer out the fridge, and then to sleep. And what happened when I was in Pattaya, this is what happened. I was waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I walked down to the beach road. There was nobody around, absolutely nobody. And it was real nice. It was something different. I hadn't experienced Pattaya in that light before, because there's always people around. And even to the point, because it was COVID, there wasn't taxis. There weren't, a lot of the 7-Elevens were closed. It was just, it was really quiet. And especially early morning, it was quite nice to reflect actually on a different kind of environment. But you're right, very nice early in the morning. Right, somebody's given me another super chat there. Let's just have a look who that is. Mark Hanley, we've mentioned you. Steve P. Okay. Looking forward to your moving on videos. I can relate to you, as I have an estranged Korean wife, and we also have 2 girls. Well, that's very coincidence, isn't it? Because we're in exactly the same boat. I have to go on the beer after. I'm so thirsty. It's when you have takeaway food. Doesn't matter what it is, pizzas, fish and chips, kebabs. They just put so much salt into it, But thank you for that, Steve. like I say, what I'm going to do, one of the videos I'm going to make, and it might be a two-part series, two videos, not series. I'm going to. It won't be for everybody, but I'm going to explain the journey from when I met my wife or when she was 19 in the hotel. She was working in a reception in Korea, and you know how our relationship developed into her being here, having an English passport, how it kind of went downhill. You know how I come to go back to Thailand, everything that happened. There'll be a bit of an emotional ride as well. So I want to, like I said on Friday, I want to make a video and explain to people what I've gone through. And anybody who's sitting on the fence who's thinking, well, I wouldn't mind doing that. I wouldn't mind packing up my bags and going to Thailand. It will give them, you know, some clues as good points, bad points, all that sort of thing. And don't forget, and I am plugging again now, right? I am plugging definitely. But don't forget, if you're one of those guys, you really want to chip in a bit more than a few YouTube videos. You want to sit down and speak to somebody face to face and say, what happens with this? How much is that? How do I do that? What happens is if this happens? What about the girls? All the things about the girls, everything you want to know, just talk to me one-on-one. I've got a service. I do a consult. I'm not a doctor, but I do a consultancy service, very, very cheap. You can sit with me for an hour in a private encrypted stream. You can ask me whatever you want. As long as it's legal, I'll talk about it. Anything about girls, prices, you know. So if you are one of those guys and you're thinking about going out full-time and you want to ask me some specific questions, that service is available on my website. Plug. Right, Ken Dowding, champagne is served. Okay, thank you for confirming that. Yeah, I like champagne actually. Thailand found Sheila the semi-farang. How are you? Is Sheila in tonight? I haven't seen her in. I thought she was in Thailand actually. I wrote to Sheila. I don't know if she's in. I'll see her if she is in a bit. I actually wrote to Sheila. I said, look, I'm going to be doing some live streams. It'd be great if you could come in as a first guest. She said she was going to go and help her girlfriend Mint do her studies or something. So she's gone back to Thailand. Paul Pablo. Hi, Peter. What is your intentions? Are you planning to meet someone in Thailand for long-term relationship or just play? Am I intending to meet somebody? Maybe. No, I can't say too much now because I'm still here sort of thing. I'm definitely not going to be a Manga. You know, those sort of days of my friends doing it, you know, from what they tell me. No, I think it's a very lonely life being a Manga. If you go out there for a couple of weeks or a month and you've got cash in your pocket, you want to let your hair down and sow a few wild oats, as they say. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, but when you live out there full time, you can't do that every night or twice a week for the rest of your life. It just, you know, it's like anything. It becomes boring. You know, sometimes you definitely you either want to live by yourself and just live each day as it comes, or you want a partner. Or I think for me, okay, I'll answer the question. I think for me, I won't be mongering, no. But if I happen, I'm not going to go looking, but if I do happen to meet somebody, then I think the sort of relationship I would like would be maybe stay with me 1 or 2 nights a week. I can take her down to Hua Hin or Pattaya, but I definitely wouldn't want to live with somebody. I don't want somebody coming around every day. I need my space. You know, I'm not saying I'm planning to do it. You just asked the question. I'm just trying to evaluate it as best as I can. Right, Jason again. Hey, Peter, it will be nice to open that bottle of whiskey back in Bangkok to celebrate your new beginnings in Thailand. Yeah, the thing is, Jason, I don't want to drink it really because once it's gone, it's gone. Jason bought me a nice bottle of Chivas Regal. He I forget where he got it, but he doesn't drink. And when he came to Bangkok, he gave me this bottle of Chivas Regal, and I put it on the shelf. And I drink the Thai whiskey, not Thai whiskey. Well, it is Thai whiskey. It's the one you get in the black box. They sell it in all the 7-Elevens. But Chivas is a nice whiskey, isn't it? It's quite nice having it on the shelf. So I don't really want to drink it, to be honest. I'll probably just leave it on the shelf, Jason. And I know it's always there then. Joe Driver. Hello, Peter and chat. Are you going through a major life change? Mental fatigue takes its toll on a bloke. Good. Yeah, that's what it could be. I mean, I'm tired a lot of the time. It could be mental fatigue because, you know, you have a lot to think about. Somebody wrote to me in the week and they said, oh, you're going on about it, Peter. It's just pack a few things in a bag and off you go. Don't make a big deal of it. But it's a little bit more than packing a few things in a bag and off you go, isn't it? Right, John Atkinson, do you think flights will ever come down again, or is this normal or worse? Well, I think what it is, John, like I mentioned last week, it's supply and demand. Now, Thai Airways and Eva Air and Thai Airways, they now dominate the direct route from London to Bangkok and vice versa. They dominate it, okay? There's lots of aircraft that fly to Bangkok. You can go through Qatar, through Dubai, through Europe, but those direct flights are run mainly now by Eva and Thai. Eva seem to be the more expensive airline these days. In answer to that, will the price ever comes down? Again, it's supply and demand. Yes, it will come down. It won't. I don't think it'll ever come down to less than it was pre-COVID. But you know, that flight that I'm going on, as I said on Friday, it was when I first looked at that flight, it was 2 weeks away, and there were only 2 seats left on it, right? So of course, if the airline's looking at its seating and it says, well, we've only got 2 seats left, but this plane doesn't take off for 2 weeks, they're not going to sell it at normal price. They're going to whack the price up. It's like if you had a fish and chip shop and you had one piece of cod left, but there was a queue of 10 people outside. You know, you can adjust the prices. You sell it for top money, wouldn't you? So yeah, it will come down. It'll be like that as you know, as people start to in the low season, less people start to go. There'll be more seats available, and I believe that the prices will come down. But right now they're really crazy prices, really crazy. I mean, I was quoted, and don't forget, I'm going one way, and I did check both ways because people say to me, look, you know, if you sometimes it's cheaper if you buy a return ticket because I'm only buying a one-way ticket. You know, I've got a long-term visa, haven't I? And not a bit of it. I mean, I was getting quotes off Eva Air one way, 3,700 baht for business class, right? Well, you used to on Eva, you used to be able to do business class return for £2,000 there and back. You know, so 3,700 for one way, it's a hell of a lot. But pre-COVID, I was paying economy, whether it was Eva or whether it was Thai Air, I was paying anywhere between, I don't know, 570 to 600 max. Let's say 560 to 580. That was a normal price pre-COVID. And then during COVID, it was going up to about, I think on one of the trips, I paid £700. My last one, actually, it was £700 return on Thai Airways economy. But I ended up paying about £1,200 because I changed the ticket multiple times to stay out there longer. That's fine. And I think now the sort of prices that people are getting back off the direct flights are kind of around £1,000, 800 to £1,000. Of course, if you go through the Middle East or Europe, you'll get it cheaper. But as I said before, I just don't see the point in doing that. You know, when you get on an aircraft, you want to be able to come off and you're at the destination you want to go to. You don't want to get off and walk around, get back on and have another flight. Some people like it, but I don't. Let me say thank you to Tron Rogers. NOK 100. I don't know what currency's NOK. But thank you, Tron, for the Chang. I'll tell you what, let's celebrate that with a beer right now. 30 minutes in. I haven't got any water left. I've got a throat like an Arab sandal. Cheers. Oh, so thirsty. Right. Thank you, Tron. Very kind of you. Troy Schmidt. Rain is only bad if you have to get somewhere to do something. If you aren't on a schedule, can relax some way. Yep. The problem is you're talking about in Thailand when it rains, it's heavy, but sometimes you know, it's all right saying if you're not in a hurry. But I remember Damien telling me he went for a massage and he was about to leave and it was raining so heavy and the soil was quagmire. It was like a river, you know, it was coming up to people's above their knees. And he said he sat there for 5 hours. He said, because it was so coming down so heavy, torrential, you just couldn't do anything, you know. I get your point, but sometimes it's a bit too much. Right, Paul Hoskins, let's dare to see what you're saying tonight. Careful, Peter, or someone will put things in your skip when your back is turned. Yeah, well, I live in a quiet cul-de-sac. I've had skips here before. I haven't had a problem. It's when you live in one of those old Victorian streets and, you know, 100 houses in a street. You come out in the morning, someone's put a mattress in your skip. They can't do it here anyway. I've got cameras because if somebody put a mattress in my skip, I'll rewind the CCTV. It's got night vision on it and everything. And what I would do, I want to see who it is. I'd pick it up and put it on his front doorstep. Right. John Atkinson, do you think... Oh, we've just read that one. Okay, let's get down to some of the new ones. Trap in Paradise, any UK meals you must have before you leave? I've had most of them. Not really. I'm very simple when it comes to UK food. I don't have anything elaborate. I like Thai food, actually, quite a lot of Thai food. I like every sort of food. I'm very particular with food, very fussy. When I'm here and I make English food, it's so simple. You know, I made spaghetti bolognese for the first time ever yesterday, and it didn't look quite right, but it tasted okay. But no, there's nothing really. You can get everything in Thailand now, even all the foreign goods, HB beans, you know, everything. Yeah, there's nothing I can think of, unless it's a specific brand. But normally you can get everything now. You can even get it off Lazada. You can buy English pot noodles off Lazada now. They're about 40 baht. What's that? That's £1. Yeah. You can buy everything. HP Daddy sauce. You go to Village supermarket. You can buy absolutely everything. So no, there's nothing really that I was thinking, well, I must have it before I go back, because I can't. Even fish and chips in Bangkok now, they've got 2 or 3 authentic fish and chip shops. They taste the same as they do here. They're even better than here, to be honest with. To be frank with you, I'm trying to stop myself saying, to be honest with you, it's very difficult. Matthew Cartwright, evening. How you doing? Paul, would you go jogging in Bangkok at night when it's cooler? It never really gets cool at night, Paul. That's the problem, is it? It's always about 87% humid in Thailand. That's the number. And you've got the pollution as well. I'm very, very lucky. At the end of Soi 10 on Sukhumvit, there's a park that stays open fairly late, and they've got a 1 mile running track. I kind of do some fast walking around there sometimes. I've got a gym in the apartment building. I wouldn't be put off jogging as far as being afraid that something might happen. That wouldn't hurt me. Did anybody see Andrew Hammond's video the other day? Andrew, he helped me with his book. He did a video on, he was in India actually. He had a horrendous time. I lived in India for a year, had a brilliant time. But he was staying in a budget hotel, and a great video. I'll try and put a link up to it at the end. Danny Ruby, is that how I say it? Danny Ruby. Had a look at flights today. Prices are going down a bit. End of high season, I guess oil prices are also going down. Yeah, okay. They will come down. They can't stay at what they are all the time. Kevin Sutherland, good morning, Peter. It's Kevin Salmon from Australia. It's been a war since I've it's been a while. You put a war. I think you meant a while. It's been a while since I contacted. I hope you're keeping well. Keeping very well, Kevin. Hope to be in Bangkok full time from next week. You see, when I was there for the 5 months, it was great, but I always had this thing in the back of the head. I've still got to get rid of my house. I've still got to go back to England. It was that kind of final thing I had to clear up. But I've done it now. Hopefully by the weekend when I go, that's it. There's no neat reason to come back. Paddy Pepsi, life is like a box of chocolates. Where have we heard that one before? Steve, only 10 days and I'm back in Thailand, but also looking for my November flight out as well, but only one way. Okay, yeah, you did mention that. I dare say we'll have a few games of pool when you come out, Steve. Martin Ryder, Dr. Peter, we'll see you now. That's the consultancy, yep. I've had a good response from the consultancy. Guys come on and ask me a load of questions. They always seem to be happy. I'm actually going to put a load of reviews on the website, because every time I do them now, I've been doing them for quite a while, but I've only had the idea to ask people, look, if you found this useful, can you write me a review? And people are very kind. They do. Ricky says, I'm thinking of trying TL for 3 years, rent out the house, no family to leave it, so why not? Yeah, the only bit of advice I give you there is if you rent it, don't do it yourself. Give it to an agency. I know it costs you money, but when you're on the other side of the world and you get problems, and you will have problems, everybody has problems when they rent. If you've got an agency who'll just write to you and say, look, it needs decorating, it's going to cost this. Are you fine with that? And you say, yeah, it all gets done for you. You pay for it, but you got peace of mind. Mark says, my suggestion for your new adventure, be true to yourself, reduce alcohol and Western food, eat like a Thai. Thai food is great. Don't forget your morning walks. Exactly. That's what I intend to do, Mark. I'm going to get a good routine going. And you'll definitely see a slimmer me. I'll be getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer every time I come on a stream, until you're thinking you're looking down the sheet of a piece of paper. That's the thing I'll be. Right. David, how you doing? Is there any bars in, say, Pattaya that sells cider in pints? Do you know? Yeah, it's a bit of a gimmicky thing, cider in Thailand. What it is, there's bars in Bangkok that sell cider, and there are bars in Pattaya that sell cider, but it's not a drink that you'll find in most bars. It's like, I suppose it's similar to Guinness. If you go to the Hard Rock Cafe, or you go to the certain hotels or English themed pubs, you'll find Guinness, but generally you won't find Guinness in any of the beer bars or places like that. And it's the same with cider. You won't find it on draft. You'll find bottles, and it's always overpriced because it's quite rare. They have it in Stumbles, actually. If you go to Soi 4, it's not Bulmers. I forget the name of the cider, but they have it. I know they have it in Stumble on Soi 4, and it's a bit of a gimmicky thing. They put posters of cider available here, but it's quite expensive compared to beer. But if you're a cider drinker and you really want to get a cider, there are places to get it. Yeah, it's not widely available, but you can get it. Okay, let me just say thank you to Dr. Sawyer's Travels, new member. That's great. I think I've got about 70 members now, so they're building up slowly. You know the drill, right? I'm trying to get more members because I want to do member streams, and they're coming in thick and fast now. It's £1.25 a week for a couple of streams a week, you know, and early viewing on the videos. And I am plugging the hell out of it. I know, guilty as charged, Your Honour. But, you know, I want to get a nice crowd in so that we can have some good member streams. All right. Paddy Pepsi, like, okay, we've done that one. Where are we? Let's get down to some of the newer ones. Nichols, Heinz tomato ketchup, £5.50. No, I don't know where you're buying it from, Nichols. You can buy Heinz tomato ketchup from 7-Eleven, exactly the same bottle, about that big. It's 33 baht, which is 40 bahts a pound, right? So 33 baht is going to be about 80 pence. I don't know where you're buying it from. The Heinz tomato ketchup that you buy in 7-Elevens, one size in English, one size in Thai, but it is Heinz ketchup. It's not like you know, roller cola, as Peter Kay would say. It's proper stuff. So just have a look when you go into 7-Eleven, bottom shelf. They've got everything there. They haven't got brown sauce. Richard O says Korean food is great. I can't get on with Korean food because, you know, I don't like garlic. It actually, when I smell it, it makes me feel like vomiting. I can eat garlic when it's mixed into food and I can't, it's not overpowering, you know, like Indian food. It's got garlic in it, but you can't smell it. It doesn't stand out. But a lot of Korean food, you know, it's pungent. It hits you. I just can't do it, you know. It's been one of the main arguments of me and my wife's, you know, in our marriage, you know, because it just totally stinks the house out for days, you know. Right, Peter McDowell. Peter, will you return often or your daughters visit you? Interested, as I'm considering it, but I'd need to return home 3 or 4 times to see my sons. Okay, that's a good question. Let me just do another slurp on this. And I'm actually drinking it out of thirst, not because I just want to drink beer. I'm really thirsty. My daughters, actually, we haven't had the best relationship, my daughters and me, as I have my wife. But my daughter said to me last week, they said, Dad, we'll come and visit you probably in November. So yeah, they will come and see me, but obviously I'll have to buy a ticket, you know, Bank of Dad and all that. So I'll get them economy ticket. I hope by the time they come over, it'll cost me 1,200, 1,400 for the pair. I said to them, look, you can stay in my apartment. You can have the double bed with the ensuite bathroom. I'll take the couch. And they're like, we'd rather have a hotel. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I'd probably book them into somewhere like the Stable Lodge. And they'll take a twin beds in one room, couple of thousand baht a night. What's that? About £50 a night. They'd come for 7 days. They don't want to do bars and clubs, which I'm happy about. They want to do like elephant farms, snake farms, tempo. So that's fine. You know, I'll get them. Yeah, I'm going on a bit, but in answer to your question, yeah, they'll come out and visit me. Obviously, my wife won't. I wonder why. Right, Joe Pet, Peter, garlic is the best part. I always get lectured. I'm not having a go at you. People always lecture me about garlic, and they're right. They say things like, "Oh, it's very, very good for you," and "Oh, you don't know what you're missing." But my answer to that is, if you know, you picked up a piece of dog shit off the street and it had every health benefit known to man, would you eat it? And the answer is no, you wouldn't, because it's disgusting. And for me, it's the same for garlic. I know garlic is a natural antibiotic. It's very, very good for you. It's got so many health benefits. It has, but I just can't handle the smell. And when I smell it, it makes me feel like I want to vomit. And you could have the best panel of doctors sit there and tell me how good it is. I still won't eat it because the smell is disgusting to me. And that extreme example of the dog poo is the easiest way I can try and make you understand how I feel about garlic. And it really is like that. Right. Ning's Black Eye. Is Finnair business class any use? I know somebody who swears by Finnair. Yeah, he always flies business class because, one, they're cheap. They're £1,600 generally to fly business class return. That's return, not one way. But what they do, they stop off in Finland. Is it Stockholm? Is that Finland? So what you do, you go from London, you get to Finland, whatever, Helsinki, I think it is not Stockholm. Helsinki, you get to Helsinki, you have to come off and you change onto another aircraft, but the luggage is all booked through. And he told me it's £1,600 return, and he swears by it. So yeah, that's what he said. Martin, HB sauce, a great British sauce made in Holland. Yeah, there's a lot of things. Weetabix is made 4 miles away from my house. You know, Weetabix is worldwide. It's the factory, so just here up the road. When they cook it, you can smell it in the air. It's really nice, actually. It's been there for 100 years. They used to take the boxes of Weetabix to the railway station on a flatbed cart with Shire horse. I've seen pictures of them, 4 Shire horse with a piled up with Weetabix down to the train station. Right, Paul Hoskins says, I always read Paul's first. You know, anybody else, I just put it up and read it. But with Paul Hoskins, I always read it first before I put it up because I don't know what's coming up. Right, Paul says, I'm not keen on Thai food, to be honest. That's okay, Paul. I mean, you know, it's you could. I don't like all Thai food. There's a lot. I don't like. Well, you know, anything with garlic in. I tend to eat the same dishes. You know, I like pad Thai, fried rice with chicken or prawns. So I like seafood, obviously. You know, all that sort of thing. Right, Franco. Gabor P, that's good. Should let them like up people. It helps the stream. Yeah, give us a thumbs up. Come on, don't be so stingy. Right, Paddy Pepsi again. Ireland beat English in Dublin for the Six Nations. Get in, lads. Yeah, okay, well done to them. Steve says never going to India. Watch Andrew Hammond's video. Mark Hanley. Peter Hoskins is on about dogging, not jogging. Okay, well, we'll skip past that one. Let me see. How far am I behind? Only about 10 minutes. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to go right down to the latest comments. So, because if they get older and older and older, then they don't mean anything. But I'll go backwards. David Lee. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do a manga minute. You're listening to me go on a bit. We're 45 minutes in. I've got 2 manga minutes, but these manga minutes are older ones that I've done a few weeks back. Okay, but as it's my last stream in Thailand Bound HQ here, I thought I'd do a couple of them. So here's the first of 2 tonight. I'm not going to do the same one twice. I'm going to do. I'll make sure I don't put the wrong thing on here. Manga minute and manga minute. Right, here's the first one. There you go, the ever popular manga minute, and there'll be one more of those later on. Just say a quick hi to everybody who's joined us tonight. Over 400 in the stream now. That's good. Right, as this is my last stream here, right here in this room, back to Bangkok next week. I was going through some of the older clips I've been doing during COVID. You know, I struggled to keep the live streams going, and this, you know, the stories every week. You know, it was a real kind of struggle to keep the channel going. Back to Bangkok now, it's a bit easier. And I was going through all the clips, and people often ask me, what's your favorite story or what's your favorite clip? And I'm going to play you something now. A guy called, this is about 2 minutes long, okay? A guy called Merrill sent me this. I forgot the name of his last name, but he was a US sailor. And in those days, I'm talking about the early 80s, the ships used to dock off Pattaya, and the sailors used to come aboard, used to come in on what they call Liberty boats, and all the girls used to meet them on the beach, you know, dressed in hula. Why they dressed as hula girls, Hawaiian hula girls, I don't know, but they'd give them garlands of flowers, and they really welcomed these American sailors. I think they stopped, you know, coming to Pattaya for some reason. So what he did here, he had a regular camera. There were no mobile phones in those days, and he sent me a bunch of pictures from Pattaya that were taken by him and his buddies as the US Navy guys, And these are some old pictures. I put them into a montage, and you might remember these. I put these up about a year ago, but this is Pattaya in the early 80s, and it just goes to show you'll see Walking Street is very, very clear. You'll recognize the beach, and everything looks as it does today, but it just looks like 1980s, not 2023. So have a look at this. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And Merrill, the guy who sent them in, he told me a couple of good backstories when he sent me those pictures, and one of them was quite humorous. Did you see the old? Do you remember the days when you had a roll of film? You took your pictures with a camera, you rolled the film up, you took it into a shop, and they'd advertise 1 hour return. So you take it at 3 o'clock, you go back at 4 o'clock, and you get your developed pictures. And Merrill said in those days in Pattaya, all the shops along the beach road and up near Walking Street, they used to advertise 1 hour photo development, and all of them, you go in and you give them the film, and they give you the docket, the piece of paper, and they'd all say, yep, thank you, come back in 4 hours and it'll be ready for you. You know, typical Thailand. And the other thing is, a lot of those quite a few of the stories that I read out on the Saturday, I try to keep people anonymous, but a lot of the guys who have told me stories from the 80s and early 90s, they were sailors. You know, they were with the US Navy, and they had the Liberty boats used to take them into shore. They had 2 or 3 days in Pattaya. They had a great time. It was a much simpler time back there. I wasn't there in the 80s, but I first arrived in Thailand in 1991, and I do remember Pattaya. It was very, very different to it is today. I remember Bangkok, there was no SkyTrain, BTS, there was no MRT. The buses that the Thais took, the locals, they were not air conditioning. You know, they're hanging out the window. You still see a few of those today. The police, you know, now you see them on, you know, they've got real pickup trucks, nice uniforms, good motorbikes. When I first arrived in Thailand, the uniforms were, you know, they looked like they'd been passed down from cop to cop. They were on their own bikes that were clapped out. The pickup trucks had paint peeling from them. I mean, it really was kind of a different world back then. But saying that, it was a much more, what's the right word to use? pleasant's the wrong word. It was a much more inviting Thailand back then, I think. So anyway, nobody likes a guy who's like, oh, in the old days are never going to come back. We know that. But just looking at those photographs, memories come back. And I can remember going into beer bars, and there were no mobile phones. So what would happen? The girls would be looking. They'd be looking for customers, and you'd walk in, and they'd all wire you. They'd give you a pa yen, the towel, wipe you down, and very polite to you, and really seem to appreciate your business. Now you go in, they couldn't give a damn, right? But those pictures are great, and it's always. We're never going to go back, as I say, but it's always good to go back and reminisce. I hope you enjoyed those pictures. I certainly did. They're one of my favorite montage of pictures. Right, okay, lots of comments coming in. I've missed a whole bunch, so I'll start with the latest. Right. Okay, Roberto, I don't know, for me, Thailand is good for party, but real girls, I like the Philippines. The thing about the Philippines, one advantage you've got in the Philippines is that they all speak very, very good English, because it's taught throughout the Philippine education system, a lot more than it is in Thailand. So you'll struggle a lot of the time with girls in Thailand. But on the other side of the coin, you've got to think about the infrastructure. Thailand's got fantastic infrastructure. The buses are cheap. You've got the taxis, you've got the BTS SkyTrain, you've got the MRT, fantastic roads. Like anywhere else in the world, you can always complain about different bits and pieces. But overall, they've got a very, very good infrastructure. The safety is second to none. You're not going to get beat on the head with a brick and robbed. You might get conned a little bit, but you're not going to get beaten up. So I think there's good and bad for wherever you go. And certainly with the Philippines, there is the language. It's a beautiful country as well. I've been there. I remember it. But, there are problems as far as crime and also the pollution. But saying that, Thailand's polluted as well now. Brendan Austin, hi, Pete. What's your thoughts on Thai Cupid? The same as they are on any dating site, Brendan. You can find a diamond in the rough, whereas you probably won't in a go-go bar. But you've got to keep your guard up. They're all the same. Thai Cupid, Tinder, Badoo. They've all got the good, the bad, and the ugly on there. You've just, like I said to you on Friday, you've just got to weed it out. The problem is, guys look at it, like I keep saying, like I said on Friday, because I did. But what they do, they look at photographs and go, no, she's cute, yes. No, yes. But what you got to do, like I said, you've got to read the bio, because most of them are truthful. They'll say, you'll read the bio, and the girl will say, I'm a freelancer. We know what that means. Freelancer equals business equals money, right? Or they'll say, I'm a lady boy, but I'm not a prostitute. I'm looking for love. So they're all the same. You just got to weed them out and know what to look for. I had a very interesting conversation with Randy, one of the viewers on here today, about this. And, but as I said, you can find the diamond in the rough. It's like anything. You just got to weed through everything. Right, and the more you look, the more experience you're going to get. Norman Love Peter, thanks for the stories. Okay, there were 2 good stories this week, weren't they? Very good, actually. People often ask me and say, what's the favorite story that you've ever read out? I think I've read over 500 stories out on this channel now, and I think the one that struck a chord with me is the one about the girl who came down from Isan. She was 17, and she told her story through her husband, so it was very well written. She worked in pattaya till she was about 40. She got married, and then the end of this story was the thoughts from the husband, psychologically what it did to him, knowing her background. But it worked out, and they had a child, and they're happy. And that was probably my favorite story. Saddest story ever was about the guy, the Australian guy, who met the love of his life after a lot of problems, and they went out on a boat and she drowned. I can't remember her name now. Her second name was Shit. That was a very difficult story to tell. Right at the end of it, a lot of people, they lost it when they told me, they wrote into me, there was this young Thai girl. She's happy. She was in an abusive relationship. She met this guy. They became, like the love of each other's life. He took her back to Australia. They went out on a small boat one night. The boat capsized. He hung on to her for 4 hours. She ended up drowning. I put her picture up at the end with his kind permission. I put some nice music in the background. A lot of people just broke down when they read that story. And me, I had to take 6 takes, and it was the only story where at the end of it, normally at the end of the stories, I'll do a little roundup. I'll give a comment, and I'll say the next live stream's here. There'll be 3 stories next week, and I do a little bit chit chat. On that one, I just couldn't. I had 6 takes. Because it made me, have a tearful eye. And on the end of it, when I finally got to the end of it, I just said, thanks for watching, guys. And I cut it. And that's probably the hardest story I've ever had to tell. But yeah, a lot of good stories. And some people say to me, oh, do you believe all those stories, or do you think they're made up? No, I believe them. I believe them. And why do I believe them? Because the way those stories are written, I'm going on a little bit about this now because this is my last stream here. I've done a lot of stories from this room. I've spent probably hundreds of hours on the stories in this very chair here, looking at this very PC monitor. And I'm just talking a little bit about the history of them now. So some people think they're made up. People accuse me. People say to me, oh, you're just a very good liar. You've made all them stories up. You know, I don't really entertain those sort of people. I kind of figure they're quite stupid, because to make up 500 stories, I'd have to be like Einstein, wouldn't I? Be very clever. I'd be working for NASA. I wouldn't be sat here. And other people say, do you believe all those stories, or do you think they're made up? And there might be one or two slip through. I haven't. I think there was one. I read it. I thought, that's bloody stupid. He's made that up. He'd gone to Thailand, and he got like 6 girls on his first night, and they all said, well, you don't have to pay us, and we're taking you for dinner. And load of rubbish, right? But no, generally speaking, I believe them just because of the way they're written, the detail. When people tell lies, it doesn't come out the way the stories come out. A lot of the time I have to spend editing them and taking out swear words or slang. The Australians use a lot of slang, more than the British, actually. And I have to replace those words. So when an Australian writes a story, they use a lot of common words that are everyday words in Australia, but you know, you wouldn't understand them. A global audience wouldn't understand them. I understand most of them, but I have to change them. The British also, we have a lot of slang words as well, like mates, and I can't think of any off the top of my head now, but you know, you've got to take those words out and make it so that everybody understands all the words. Right, okay, so let's move off this subject now. Right, Checkban, will you come, let me put that up. Will you come good on your idea of showing us a room and your spot in the garden? Yeah, well, I know you're in late, Checkban, because that's exactly what I spoke about at the beginning of the day. Yeah, I start off at the house and I walk down my garden and I film the patch of grass and say, that is where I used to water the daisies, all right? I then come into the room and I film this room as is now with all the monitors and everything, right? It's going to get stripped down tomorrow. This week, I'm going to carry on that video. I'm going to film this empty, and it'll be quite sad, actually, quite emotional. Okay, so I haven't seen Capio, but Chetban saying hello, Capio. So hi to you, Capio. Steve, everything Patty 100% makes all his stories up, as he always says. It's from a girl. Well, he says I don't know. He says he gets his stories from his hairdresser. I don't know. I mean, I've listened to them. Some of them are quite good stories. But I don't know if he makes them up. I wouldn't. Personally, I don't know. I honestly don't know. They're entertaining. I know that. Right. Marvin, thank you very much for that super sticker, mate. I appreciate that. This is going towards the broadband in the 5-star hotel on Saturday. I've more than paid for it now, actually. Franco there, look. Nice to see you in the house, Capio. And I will plug the membership again. If you've been thinking about it, guys, please go for the membership, because I'm going to be doing these member streams. It's £1.25 a week. Okay. I'd hate you to miss out. Well, you'll be in a stream like this, and I'll say, that's it. I'll be back in 10 minutes for the members, and you're not a member, you won't have access to it. Right, okay. Who remembers this? How would you like to wake up next to this?
I'm 45. 45-year-old. I got 7 kids. I don't know why. I don't even like the man, but he got money. He said, you get me 7 kids, I get you fixed like nothing. Look at this. He gave me fixed like nothing. $4,500 for everything. Oh my God. Look. I look 24.
My God. I've just started working the bar tonight, and I never go with customers, right? Javier, how you doing? Nice to see you in, Javier. The end of the era, Peter. So many great live streams out there. Yeah. The problem with the live streams in Thailand, I just can't get the time for the UK audience. You know, I have to do them I've made the effort, and instead of doing them in the day or late afternoon like some do out there, I've done them at 11 o'clock at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night, because at least I can catch people at 4 or 5 o'clock. But I'll tell you which live streams did go down quite well, and that is the 1 or 2 that I did from just sitting in a deck chair on the beach in Jumpton. It was about 4 in the afternoon, and I thought, well, I won't have anybody in. Maybe 20 to 50 people will come in, but I'll give it a go. I had 200 people in. It was a good couple of streams. Paddy Pepsi, Franco the mod, Paddy asking to moderation for Peter. Okay. I think we've got about 5 moderators in now. Guys, if I'm missing out on your comments, don't get offended. Don't think I'm doing it in purpose. We've got well over 400 in now. And as I talk and show videos, I lose a lot of them. But if it's something important, you can write it again. I'll try and pick it up second time round. Mark, I know the slang, Peter. I worked in Europe for a year. My team all spoke. I'll read that again. I know the slang. I worked in Europe for a year. My team all spoke English, but just straight English. Otherwise, it did not work. Yep, fair enough. But you know, like I say, Australia, they seem to have a lot more slang than we do as well. You know, not knocking the Australians, of course, just an observation. Right, where are we? Where are we? Brian's, how are you doing? What's up with you? Right, okay, let's get back down here. Right, Mazza said good numbers tonight. Yes, it's good. It's always nice when you get a lot of people in, but it's nice all the time. You know, look, I'm genuine now. I'm not bullshitting. You know, I like doing the streams. That's why I've been able to do like 2 hours, 3 hours. I did Ed Sweeney and I did a 5-hour stream once. Do you remember that one? That went really well, really good. Okay, right, only in Thailand. We had a fish and chip shop. A guy complained that our fish and chips were dearer than the one up the road. I said, why not go then? He said they're closed. I said, when we are closed, their F&C are free. Yeah, okay. There's an old Bernard Manning joke about a fish and chip shop. I thought it was really funny. I have got a joke of the week tonight, but I'll just tell you. Probably heard this. This is a Bernard Manning joke, right? He was considered very. Bernard Manning was considered very kind of racist and politically incorrect, but very, very funny man. He lived next door to an Indian doctor. They were the best of friends. And his classic line, Bernard Manning says, I'm not a racist. I just hate everybody, you know. But his fish and chip shop joke, I thought it was quite funny. He said, this is a Bernard Manning joke, right? So a guy goes into a fish and chip shop. He says, hey, you idiot, give me fish and chips. And the guy behind the counter says, my God, you don't order like that. That's just so rude. He says, come round here. I'll show you how to do it. So they swap places. And the owner goes up to his own counter. He says, good afternoon, very pleasant outside today. May I have a portion of your finest fish and chips? The guy behind the counter says, no, get stuffed. You wouldn't serve me. But of course, when Bernard Manning tells it, it's a lot better because he does a little bit of swearing as well. Right, travel mixtape. I was 29 when I first started listening to you, and I'm now 32 on my way to Thailand for the first time. Next week, I can't believe it's partly thanks to you, Peter. Yeah, well, thank you, Travel Mixtape. You're going to have a damn good time. I had a guy write to me in the week, and he said, oh, my God, how could you get fed up of this? I'm at the end of Soy Cowboy, and I've died and gone to heaven. I thought, well, you've only been there 2 days. I've been going there for 31 years. You know, I mean, I still love it, but, you know, some things do get a bit kind of worn. Martin Ryder, Eddie on the wagon, except a bottle of gin a night. Okay. I haven't watched any of his stuff for ages. We did some great streams together, you know. I don't want to get into it, but you know, right? Okay, so how long have we been going? An hour. Richard Martin, I reckon that you have a nice Thai lady waiting for you in Thailand. Do you? Is that what you reckon? You reckon I got a nice Thai lady waiting for me? What makes you think that? Why do you think I got a nice Thai lady waiting for me? I've never said anything here. I'm trying to come on and get this sorted out now. Good comment. And it will be a no comment from me. Right, okay. No, I'm too old and ugly now. I can't get anybody. Right, Red Pill Denmark. Did you look into accident insurance in Thailand without the health plan? I don't want to get into this again. I'm going to put $1 million baht aside, okay? I can still come back and use the NHS for anything long-term, but I'll have $1 million baht put aside. Whatever happens to me, I'll pay for it because I just don't trust insurance companies, okay? I'm not going to pay an insurance company every month, every year, just to be told I didn't look at the small print, or I used to smoke, or that wasn't covered, or this wasn't covered, and then I'm in the shit. I pay them all that money, and they're not going to fix me up, right? I'm going to put $1 million baht in the bank, which is about, I think it's £25,000, okay? I'll leave it there. And whatever happens to me, I've got the money there to pay for it. I've got, I carry a couple of numbers in my, I carry this in a lot of my phone, my wallet, and it's in Thai. I'll just hide the numbers, but I'll show you that, right? And what that says in English is, I've got it on the other side in English, right? That's what it says in English. In case of medical emergency, please contact them 2 names. Right, so that's what I'm doing for insurance. Doesn't matter whether it's accident insurance or whatever insurance. I just do not have any faith in insurance companies now. And you know why, don't you? Go back and look at that video I made about, I didn't name them because of the libelous laws in Thailand are very strong. You can get into a lot of trouble, but I think you know who I was talking about. very unimpressed with them. Very unimpressed. I wish I could name them. If I wasn't going back to Thailand ever, I would make a video just about them, name and shame them. Right. Mazza says, Peter and Eddie are my favorite Thai traveler YouTubes. Hopefully Eddie will reach out someday and you'll hook up again as you make a great team. Well, I thought I'd upset him because he made that video that he was going to be the lone wolf and he wasn't going to talk to anybody. And then he was in the bar with Nick Dean, wasn't he? And then I'd heard from somebody else that it wasn't me, but it was a bunch of people. A bunch of things happened. You know, I mean, it's his decision. I think Ed's a great guy. One of the reasons he was one of my mentors on YouTube. There was certain guys I'd watch and I'd think, yeah, I like these guys. I'm going to, you know, if I do a YouTube channel, I'm going to not emulate them or copy them, but they give me a little bit of direction, how I would like to go. I'm not going to be one of these guys who puts the camera on the floor and is like, hey, ho, yay, you know, and jumping about like a madman. I'm 60, right? But, you know, Ed was one of those guys. I used to watch him every week. I found him very, he come across as an educated man. He was very interested. So I subscribed to him. Also, as well as Simon Land of Smiles, I very much enjoyed his stories. And I didn't copy him. It's just it gave me an idea to tell a few of my stories during COVID because I didn't have any content, and then people started sending them in, and you know the story from then on there. So yeah, Eddie was one of those guys who I looked up to as a YouTuber, and I thought, yeah, he's cool, he's good, and obviously he's made a decision, which he's his own man. I can't do anything about that, and we just move on. That's it. What can I do? Right. Mark Hanley says, I think it was at Mad Belgium, not you, Pete. Yeah, I know. Other people have said that to me as well. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna stop it there because I did say one thing to, but it was about that subject. But I don't want to open up a can of worms. Javier says, I got a feeling that the lucky lady could be your friend, the taxi driver from the app line. That's Apple. She's actually married now. She was single when I first knew her. It isn't Apple. If I did have somebody, it wouldn't be Apple because she's actually married now. But I'm not admitting to having anybody. I'm just saying if I had somebody, it wouldn't be Apple. But it definitely wouldn't be a bar girl either. Right, I don't know. You're saying Boomer Goona, lady boys, yay or nay? For me, I'm in the middle. Got nothing against them. I'm just not into them. Hot Shot Travel, that's a weird vlogger. I've not heard of him, Hot Shot Vlogger. What you don't realize, there's so many YouTube channels in Thailand. A lot of them you don't hear of. People mention them to me every day. If I had to guess, I'd say there's at least 100 people in Thailand doing YouTube videos, right? The vast majority, no, not the vast majority, a lot of them, they just concentrate, a lot of them are in Pattaya and they just do, all they concentrate on is bar girls, new bars opening up, where you can get a cheap meal. That's what they do. They're based in Pattaya, okay? But there's so many of them, some of them are very, very good. Some of them, I wouldn't look at them twice. Right, Max, it's 5 a.m. here in Bangkok. My first time here and I love it. Thank you, Max. I understand why you're coming to live here. Not long now. Yeah, and I tell you what, Max, I've got in my favor. A lot of guys, I see them trip up because what happens, they go to Thailand, they have a couple of holidays and they come back and think, well, I'm going to go out to Thailand, I'm going to retire or I'm going to make a business. And they've got a plan and they've got a budget. And what happens is it all goes out the window because they're in a candy shop, so they get to Thailand with this plan. And before you know it, they're going out, they're sleeping late. All their plans go out the window. I've got that on my side. I've had all that for years and years and years. I'm quite happy to go out in the daytime, eat good food and watch Netflix in the, of course I go out sometimes. I go out and play a few games of pool. I have a few drinks, but my go-go bar days are, long gone. Still occasionally I'll go if Simon can be bothered to come over to my end of town. But yeah, that's one thing I definitely believe I've got in my favor. Mark, you can see content on YouTube just to be honest and understand what your audience wants. I'll tell you what, Mark, I never wanted to be Mr. Manga, the Manga channel and all that sort of thing. And the way it's gone, I've kind of just gone along with it and played on it. I thought, well, people like this. I've started putting pictures up in the background like these lovely ladies here. And I did a lot on the bars and stuff like that. And it just kind of developed. But as I go out, what you'll start to notice, I'm not going to get rid of my format as it is, but I want to add to it. And what you'll see, I'll start to be putting up thumbnails that don't have ladies on them. They'll have me on on the back of a motorbike or something. But I do want to kind of move away from that kind of manga image because I'm not really a manga. That's why I always put up the failed manga or the fake manga, but people seem to like it, don't they? There are channels out there that are just dedicated to manga, and I won't name them, but you know who they are. That's all they talk about. Right, Stuart says, I know it's not the same as the insurance if you're the full time, but I get absolutely shafted by AXA when we needed COVID insurance to travel. Total cowboys. Well, let me tell you something about travel insurance, which is quite good. So when you go for long time insurance, when you live out there like I did, and I went for a policy, you know, they put you through the mill. You know, if you've cut your toenails, you don't qualify. You know, I mean, when they sent me back, they said, "Oh, well, congratulations, we're going to cover you, but nothing to do with gout, nothing to do with heart, nothing to do with kidneys, nothing to do with liver, nothing to do with blood. We don't insure your teeth, we don't insure your right side." I'm like, well, what are you insuring? My slippers, my T-shirt? Because you're not insuring anything. But with travel insurance, they don't ask you all that. So you say, well, I'm going to Thailand for 2 months. I need travel insurance. Yep, no problem. 2 months. When you're going, when you're coming back, it's going to cost you £200, $300. And you don't realize it's actually very expensive because it's just, you don't realize because it's just a few weeks or a month. And you look at it and think, yeah, that's okay, I'll pay that. So the reason they don't ask you for all that long-term stuff is because they're only going to insure you for a month, 6 weeks, something like that. And the chances of something happening to you are can't get the word up, very slim. Okay. And so they're willing to take the chance. But on the back of that, they're able to charge you a much higher premium. So companies like you've just mentioned, when they insure you on travel insurance short term, they don't ask it because they charge so much money for a short term that they make their money. So even if they get caught with their pants down, they have to pay out big money to somebody, it doesn't bother them. They can cover it. And that's what you'll find with travel insurance. Yeah, Steve, I've never actually watched him, The Eyes of Owen. I heard it was a good channel. I think I might have caught one of his, but what it is, when you run your own YouTube channel, you don't really want to watch other YouTube channels in particular. Like I'll be working all day on the Manga Minute and the Ladyboy and going through lots of stuff. And then when you finish, the last thing you want to do is watch somebody talking about Thailand. You know, I want to go and watch a Clint Eastwood movie or something like that. I love Clint Eastwood, brilliant. You know, do you feel lucky, punk? Brilliant, brilliant. Right, Capio again. I met The Eyes of Owen. He didn't smile much, okay. Cashier, I met somebody who didn't smile much. Who was it? I can't remember who it was. I met somebody in Thailand. I thought, oh, I know it was. It was really funny because I made the woman laugh like hell. So where I rent my motorcycle from, the scooter, it's the same lady every time I go down there. She doesn't say, oh, fill out the form. I need it. She doesn't take a deposit, nothing. I just get there and I hug her. That's how close we are now, right? And she's got a guy. I thought it was her husband. He sits in a deck chair. He's got a face that would melt a stone, right? And I look at him and I give a kind of side smile at him and he grunts at me, you know, and it's just his way. He's not anything against me, you know. And when he wasn't there one day and I said, Jesus Christ, to the woman, she speaks good English. I said, Jesus Christ. I said, your husband. I said, you've got to, you know, make him a bit happier when you go home tonight. She said, and she laughed like mad. She said, he's not my husband. He's just in the business, you know, like that. I said, Jesus Christ, he looks like he's lost he looks like he's lost 1,000 baht and found 50 baht. I said, he never smiles. And she, of course, she was in an uproar. She was laughing her head off. So when I went back the next time, he was sitting there and she was there and we were just talking. I went like this. I kind of just looked at him and rolled my eyes and she just burst out laughing, you know, really funny. How did I get onto that subject? Right, okay. Right, Terry says, what are you doing with your pee? Are you selling it? With my peat? I think that's a bit of a mistake there. Did you mean to say what am I doing with my dog, maybe? I wouldn't be selling my dog, would I? Ernest Chancellor, I know it is frowned upon. I know it is frowned upon, but I like my gin to drink and cigarettes. Are they easily to purchase around Thailand? Everywhere. They give it away, the box of cornflakes. No, actually, gin is sold in every single bar. It can be the worst, cheapest bar in Thailand. Gin is sold everywhere. Cigarettes you can get everywhere. Every 7-Eleven. They don't display them now, but you can get cigarettes everywhere. You can get gin in every bar you go to, so don't worry about that. Bernie in the house. Nice to see you, Bernie. Is the house in the house and enjoying the stream? We are all really getting the sense of your final UK exit countdown. I take my hat off to you, Peter, for your commitment and perseverance with your final move. Yeah, thank you, Bernie. It's not my fight. If everything goes to plan at the weekend, as I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm going to be in a hotel at the airport. You remember the song 1968, John Denver, he sang, I'm leaving on a jet plane, don't know when I'll be back, something like that. Well, that'll be me next Friday, and I hope to do a stream at the airport hotel, and I will repeat that sentence, but I'll get it right, okay? Good to see you in any way, Bernie. Capio says, the local gin in Thailand is horrific. It is so acidic acidic, but most of the bars in big cities now have foreign gins. One of the biggest problems, Cappy, I'm sure you know this, a lot of the bars, they'd buy one bottle of Gordon's Gin from 7-Eleven, because you can get it in 7-Eleven, I think. You can, or you'll get it in one of the supermarkets, Tesco, Lotus, or something like that. And what they do, because it's a nice bottle to display, if somebody comes in and says, a little bar, and they say, I want a gin and tonic, some guy's just landed from England, he wants a gin and tonic, and he sees Gordon's Gin there, they go, oh yeah, we'll have a Gordon's Gin and tonic. But actually what a lot of them did, most of them I would think in the smaller bars, not so much now, in the old days, they'd finish that bottle of gin and then they'd top it up with cheap crap, which was gin, but it was really cheap. And, I don't think that's so bad these days. They're just trying to make money, it's expensive, imported gin. Cashier, I smile a lot. Thailand, probably because of the alcohol, but the Thais seem to smile a lot less in the past. Miss the old days when smiles were free. It very much has gone that way, Cashier. You've just got to move with it. But I've said this many, many times. In the old days, when you walked into a bar, you go into Soy Cowboy, great example, those smaller bars. You'd walk in and all the girls in the bar would why you. A proper why, hands together like that. And they'd all smile at you. They'd come and offer you a drink, give you the cold towel, little bit of a massage. When you bought them a drink, it was a Pepsi in a champagne glass. Laughable, really. But it'd last them 20 minutes. And they didn't ask you for another one. They'd look at the glass. And if you didn't offer the one, eventually they would tootle off and they'd be very polite and say, oh, I go toilet now. See you later. And it was just, it's the way it's going. Something I've noticed on this trip, and it took me about 3 months before I finally clicked. But, when I used to, in the old days, I hate saying in the old days, but I've got no other way to sort of explain it. But I remember when you went into 7-Eleven, it doesn't matter what 7-Eleven it was, it doesn't matter how busy it was, every time you walked in 7-Eleven, the staff behind the counter said very loudly, Sawadee Kab, or the girls would say Sawadee Ka. They'd always greet you. Now you go into a 7-Eleven, they're on their mobile phones or they just look the other way. That's how it's going. It's becoming more and more westernized. And it used to be so service orientated, and it wasn't perfect. And there were a lot of gaps in chinks in the armor. Okay, but it was how Thailand was, and it was very very nice. It was very nice how you were treated. Now, and of course, it wasn't on the internet back then, so there were a lot less tourists in the old days because it wasn't on the internet. Of course, everybody goes to Thailand now. Everybody wants to retire out there. There's been a lot of dickheads go out to Thailand, so the Thais get fed up, though. But you can't blame the Thais who work in tourist areas. Sometimes they have to deal with guys who are just downright rude, arrogant. They think they're, we've all seen them, haven't we, when we've been in Pattaya, the guys who think that, they're just because they come from a foreign country, they've got the right to talk down to the Thais and tell them how, crap their country is and how good their country is. And I'm thinking, well, what are you doing here, and that's what it's like. So, yeah, you've got to move with the times. Thailand's still a very nice country. The people are still very, very nice, but they've matured very much so now. They've matured to the point where, as far as foreigners go, they know we're not all perfect and we're not all rich, and that's just how it is. Mark Hanley says, blame it on social media. Okay. I just think it's oversubscribed now. Everybody goes there. Yeah, Steve says about the Russians. There's 7,000 Russians in Phuket now, and some of them are rubbing the locals up the wrong way because they're doing businesses and they're taking business from the Thais. There's a lot of Russians all over the place. I'm not particularly having a dig at them. I'm just stating a fact. Right. World Travel Forever. During COVID, the girls were a lot nicer and less pushy. They really appreciated the guys who made it. Yeah, and one of the big questions was, why are there so many lady boys in Pattaya in COVID and no girls? And the reason for that is because a lot of the girls, well, most of the girls, they have children, don't they? So what would happen? It's a chance for them to go home and see their family. Of course, they want to be in Pattaya to make money and send it to their families. They've got no choice. But when they can't make money and COVID was on, it's a brilliant excuse. Well, not an excuse, but they're like, well, I'm not making any money. I don't know when I'm going to be making any money. I might as well go back home. I can live with my family cheaply, maybe pick potatoes in the field or something like that. And I can spend time with my kids. Well, of course, ladyboys don't have kids, do they? So they don't go back home. They stayed in Pattaya, and that was the reason there were so many ladyboys. I told you I had that conversation with a go-go dancer I know her very, very well. I've known her for over 20 years. And, she still looks very, very nice, very beautiful still. And I asked her what she did during COVID. She said, I went back home and I was picking potatoes, 300 baht a day. And I was like, wow, you know, and she was like, well, you know, you work for a week, you can get a sack of rice, you can get some cheap cuts of pork, you go to the market, you get cheap vegetables, I can feed my family. And yeah, I mean, absolutely. Right, she's not picking potatoes now, I can tell you that. Right, Kurt, that's everywhere in lack of respect from the younger generation, but they want the money. Yeah, my daughters are the same. You know, sometimes I feel like killing them. I really do. Guys, I've got to. I'm not in a hurry to finish this stream. There's well over 450 in now, which is great. I'm just going to put on this little intermission because I've got to. There's no daisies, but I'm going to go and water something. I heard that kick in. I got up to go to the toilet and I just heard the music kicking. I thought, Jesus Christ, that's loud. That'll wake them up. Yeah, okay. Right. Daisy's watered. Refueled. Am I refueled? No, I'll have another one of these. And then we'll do, what should we do now? How long will we go on? Should we do a, no, let's carry on with the comments for a while and then we'll do a competition. Right, Matthew, I was going to say something about that, given it's the last stream. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, Matthew, I'm not drinking the hard stuff at the moment because I don't want to get sloshed. Because if it's, I've been going for an hour and a half now and I'll try and keep it going for quite a bit longer. So, I'm out of breath just from running out of them. So unfit. Right. I can't read some of these out. Who is Bob Dylan? Paddy Pepsi says. I don't know where that comes from. I just announced. I just said about that, didn't I? Louis Lewis said whiskey time. Do you know what gets me about her? That girl. Not that I'm a monger, as I mentioned before. She does this wink, and it's that wink that's really sort of nice, you know. Okay. Right, David. Sorry, Peter. F1 rerun on now. Take care on everything. I hope to catch up before leave. You, Judas, David. You're leaving me for the F1. How dare you? Okay. Thanks, David. I'll see you probably from Thailand or next Friday rather. Right. Okay. Kurt says I hope to retire there with about $250,000 or so in a few years. Is it possible? Well, the one thing I'd say about that, Kurt, I don't know if you mean baht or pounds or dollars. So I'll presume it's either dollars or pounds. I would say you're not going to live for the rest of your life in Thailand on $250,000. You need income. If you've got $250,000 in the bank and you've got a pension coming in, then you've got a chance. But if you go out to Thailand with $250,000 and you live for the next 20 years, you'll run out of money very fast. The reason being, there's so much more to spend on. People don't realize. They think, oh, Thailand's really cheap compared to my country. But, you know, in your own country, at 6 o'clock, you have your dinner, you put the TV on, and that's your lot. But in Thailand, there's a lot more to spend it on. Just bring that up again, Kurt. There's actually, I've done a video. I can't remember which one it was. It was about a year ago. And I did a budget for people going to Thailand. Just look through them. The title's there. I've done several videos, actually. And that will give you an idea. Right. Edward Chase says, no one in my village in Isan has heard of Bob Dylan. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of famous Western. I mean, how many Isan singer stars have you heard of? You know, turn the tables around. Yes, Mark, PP time. Thailand first adverts, I hate them. Matthew Cartwright, Louis Leisure, I was just going to say something about that, given it's the last stream. Okay, let's get right down here so I don't repeat myself. Right, Kurt says, yeah, I'll go back and look at your videos. Yeah, there's some good videos there, Kurt. Not plugging my own videos, but there's a lot of information on there. Yeah, I heard somebody earlier who said he's gone to Thailand for the first time. It's only because he's been going through all them videos, right? Jerry, hi, Thailand bound. First time here, bro. I was a Butlins Redcoat in the 70s and 80s. Great days. Never been to Thailand, but hoping to go soon. Just back from Lou. So sorry if you read this. No, absolutely. Jerry, Butlins, Redcoat. I mean, you must have had a great time. You know, they were in the 70s. Butlins, if you're not from the UK, Butlins is a kind of budget family holiday camp. People would go there for a couple of weeks in the summer, working people, and everything was laid on. So you paid a fixed price and you got what they call a chalet. So it's normally, you know, a couple of bunk beds for the kids and a bed for mum and dad. And once you paid for that holiday, you normally got there on a coach. You know, there's no flying involved or anything. And once you got there, everything was on. So, you know, all your food was paid for. They laid on entertainment. You know, they had all these games that they laid, swimming contests, Miss Butlins and all the rest of it. They're gone now, those days. Butlins are still around, but it's not like, you know, 70s and early 80s. Right, Yoss Travels, 250 will last 10 to 12 years. That's 18,000 a year. Well, it might not last that long, Steve. You know, if he's into the ladies. Well, that is very generous super chat there. George Brooks, thank you for that, George. You know, people sending $5, $10, I'm very appreciative of it, but to send nearly, well, $50, it's very generous of you, and that will go a long way next week. I'll think of something good to spend that on. Thank you. Michael Ward, a very emotional week ahead. Good luck, Peter. You know, I'm actually nervous as hell, and I'll tell you why, because I'm actually, let me have a quick slurp on this. I'm actually a very emotional person to the fact that I do have a lot of feelings. And for me, I'm going through this process now of moving. And when I was in Thailand, it felt like the real deal. You know, I've got my apartment, I've got my visa, everything's in place. I'm coming out here. But in the back of my mind, it kind of was just like any other trip that I'd taken out there, because I've still got my house. I know my family are here, and I know when I come back to the UK, I'm going to be sleeping in my bed. There's my TV. But it's kind of different this time because I'm going to help my wife, you know, move. Everything's boxed up now. We've got the skip coming on the drive tomorrow. During this week, everything's going to be cleared out to the point where once those boxes are gone, it'll be an empty shell. Now, obviously, you know, I'll see her off first, so the kids will be there. She'll go off. That's going to be very emotional because at the end of the day, however many arguments we've had, however many bad things have been said, you know, a family is blood. Blood is thicker than water. And you forget about all the bad things. On the day when you're saying goodbye to each other, you're not going to think about the argument next week. You're not going to think what somebody did to you 2 weeks ago. You're going to think, that's my daughter's. You know, I won't see him for a long time. My wife, I spent 33 years, and I hope they'll think the same. When they go off, I'll have a last walk around the house. It's going to be really sad. And thankfully, luckily for me, I was going to go down to Heathrow in a taxi as soon as I hand the key back. Luckily, Franco, who's in here, has offered to take me down, which is going to help me a lot because I'm going to have a lot of strong feelings. I hope I'm going to have to cope. It's not like I made the choice. I'll be okay once I'm back in Bangkok, and I have people who will help me through it, if that makes sense. Okay, I don't want to say too much. But Franco's taking me down, so I'll be in a friendly environment with a friend, which will help a lot. But it's going to be difficult. I'm actually dreading it. This Friday, I'm dreading it. Once I'm in the hotel in Heathrow, I'll be fine. I'll go down at the bar, have a few drinks. I'll do the live stream. But I'm dreading it. But you have to cross the finish line to end the race. You cannot finish a race until you get past that line. And I'm now heading for that line. I can see the line in front of me, but I've got to cross it. And then it's another chapter in my life over. And then I go forward. What else can I say? Right. Motel says, well said, family, Peter. Same, Peter. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, look, whatever it is your family. You know, you could have been fighting tooth and nail for the last 10 years. But when you're on that doorstep and you're saying goodbye to somebody, you know, you're not thinking of all that stuff. Geezers, Jason, travel mixtape. Yep, you get a better rate with the £50 notes. You're talking about the when you change money up. Yeah, if you can take new, good condition £50 notes, because you'll get the best. You get the best rate. Then the higher the note, the better the rate. And I told you, you've got to either go to Super Rich, or if it's late, go and see the lady, the Arab lady, down the alleyway back of Soy 3. I made a video about it. It shows you exactly where to go. Lots of people have written to me and said, I went there today and I got a great rate. Check down, we're rooting for you, Peter. Okay, thank you. What's going on with this wire? Hang on. Let's get this out of the way. It's bugging me now. It's all hanging around. Right. Okay. Jerry says, Mazza, Skeggy. Oh, I missed that now. Where are we? Mazza said, Skeggy was my first camp on holiday. I was 15. Same here. I met a girl, then even now. Yeah, I know very well the Butlins at Skegness because they've got an airstrip across the road. And believe it or not, I've said this before. I used to fly light aircraft. You know, it isn't as expensive as you think it is. You know, because you do it over long term. You rent the aircraft with fuel and stuff. And I used to land there across from Butlins. I used to take the bus into town and get with a friend of mine. We used to fly into the caravan site. It has an airstrip. We used to land on grass. We used to walk to the bus stop, which is right outside on the main road there. We used to get the bus into Skegness. We'd sit and have fish and chips on the seafront, have a little wander, and then we'd fly back. Brilliant day, brilliant days. Right, Mark says, go on, Peter, never hold on to the past, embrace the future. Yeah, well, I got no choice, really. It's not like I've said, oh, you know what, I don't like you lot anymore. I'm going to get on a plane and leave you. That hasn't happened. My wife has said to me, I want some space. Well, fine. She's got it. Hero 86 Max, I hope to meet you when I make it to Thailand. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you, right? I meet a lot of people. When people fly in, I meet them. But what I don't do, some people expect me to go pissing up in go-go bars till 4 o'clock in the morning just because they've arrived. And I don't do that. So if someone says, look, I've just landed in Bangkok, let's meet up. I'll say to them, yeah, that's fine. Let's go and have lunch, or let's meet and have a coffee in Starbucks, or let's have dinner at 7 o'clock. But if they say to me, let's meet in Stumble, and then we're going to go into Nana Plaza till 4 o'clock in the morning, I tell people straight, I say, well, no, sorry, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do it. I did it with Max Veit, Bullet, who comes in here, but I only had one in there with him. He'd never been there before. He'd never been to a Goggle Bar. And I said, right, well, let's start as you mean to go on. I'll take you to the best one here. I took him up to the 3rd floor. We had one beer in there. He was like he died and gone to heaven. I said, we'll go downstairs. I had another one with him downstairs, and then I called it a night. He carried on. I went home. So I do like meeting people. I've got some friends now that I've met, friends who I consider them friends, and I've met them on this channel. Steve from Yours Travel, I consider him a friend now. You know, we had a lot of game of pools. Jason, I met the guy who's on here tonight. Sean, I met. He's a friend also. I can't name everybody. There's a guy in Jesse. I met him. If I forgot your name, I've met you. Peter. He bought me lunch in Soy 8 one day. He was a very nice guy. I can't remember everybody, but I've met a lot of nice people. I've only ever met one idiot. It was a guy I met in LK Metro. He came up to me and he said, let me just say thank you to Nicholas for that super sticker. Thank you, Nicholas. I'll get a few cans with that. The worst guy I ever met, I was in LK Metro, and he came in a time bar, and he came up to me and said, oh, I've been watching your channel since day one. So I thought, oh, all right, thank you. But that was his lead-in. And then he started telling me I shouldn't wear black shirts because it makes me this, and I shouldn't say this, and I shouldn't do that. And he thinks the competition should be like ran this way, and I'm doing it all wrong. And I just felt like saying, look, just piss off, mate. Open your own YouTube channel if you're going to, you know, I'm not interested, you know. And no, I'm not interested. And there was the other guy, wasn't there, who hounded me to go for lunch in Pattaya, and I got a burger and chips, and he gave me $100 and said, that's towards your lunch. And I said, put it back in your wallet, mate. I'll pay for my own lunch. And I walked off. And they're the only two kind of dickheads I met. Everyone else has been really, really nice. Okay. Funk Bringer, is it? Which Goggle Bar was that you took him to? You consider the best? No, okay, let me reword that. I don't consider it the best. It was his first time there, and I thought, well, I'll take him to a decent Goggle Bar, one that's got a bit of life in it, because it was fairly early. It was about 9 o'clock, and you know it doesn't really get lively till about 11. And I didn't want him wandering into one of the bars that's got 6 girls on stage, you know, and they're the B team. I wanted to take him somewhere that has a lot of girls. It's lively. So I took him up to, excuse me, burping there. I took him up to Billboard because I knew there'd be 100 girls in there, 2 stages. And there was, and it was a few people in there, and he thought it was great. And that's what I mean. I don't mean it was the best bar in the best Goggle Bar in Bangkok. I don't mean that at all. I just meant I wanted to take him somewhere where he'd sit there and think, wow, you know, this is something else. Okay. Right, Tony, Peter, your wife has a new man, you have a new woman. I don't know. I'm not bothered if she had a new man. I've said to her, you know, if you want to have I'll talk about this in a second. Let me just say thank you to Chad for that super chat. Very, very kind of you, Chad. Always appreciate it. No, I mean, we've had this conversation before. I mean, the thing with me and my wife, I know this is kind of personal. I don't mind talking about it up to a point. But the thing is with me and my wife, we don't hate each other. You know, we've had little arguments. But the good thing about her, she's not like, you know, with a Thai woman, if you fall out with her, she just won't talk to you for days. It's in the heart. You know, you're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Nothing. I'm tired, you know, whatever. But with her, we can have a raging argument. I go out, come back, and I'm like, she's like, did you get the milk? And I'm like, oh, I forgot, I'll go and get it now. It's like it never happened, you know. So we've never had that problem. We've just got to the point where we're just kind of bored with it all. Our daughters have grown up now. I've been a bit much for my wife. I used to drink a bit too much and shout a little bit. You know, my kids would leave the clothes on the floor and I'd say, put them in the basket. I'd come up later and they're still on the floor and I'd raise my voice a bit. She didn't like that. And we just got to the point where we thought it'd be a good idea. You know, I want to go to Thailand. She doesn't. And she, you know, we just thought, okay, well, let's live our own lives. We're not even going to get divorced, right? So if I die, she gets everything anyway, everything I own. And I said to her one time, I said, look, if you meet somebody else, you know, the only thing I'm worried about is if she meets some kind of a scammer, you know, because she's got a nice car. She'll own her own house, which is paid for outright, you know, and she's Asian. So though she's getting on a bit, she's still quite attractive. And, you know, there's some con men out there, isn't it? And that's the only thing that would frighten me a little bit, is that she'd meet up with some guy who moved in with her and basically fleeced her, you know. But I told her straight, I said, look, if you want to meet somebody, that's up to you. No hard feelings. I just hope he makes you happy, you know. And if I meet somebody, you know, why not? No problem. Right, Funk Bringer, thank you for that $5, Funk Bringer. I can get a few beers with that as well. Thanks for answering my question. I'm coming alone for a month for my first time in May. I'm excited, and because of your stories, I feel prepared. Well, do you know, I know a lot of guys who've been to Thailand after watching a lot of those stories, and they still got screwed up in a bad way. Not seriously, just keep your wits about you. You know, what you don't want to do, Funk Bringer, what you don't want to do is go in with a negative attitude and look at all the girls like they're out to screw you. I don't mean in that way. I mean con you, right? Don't go in with a negative attitude and look at the girls and think, what are they going to try and do? What tricks are they going to be? What you want to do is you go in there. These girls are terrific. They're good fun. They've got good hearts. They're great nature. They're very, very kind. You know, they're almost like a girlfriend. They're easy to fall for, you know. But you've just got to be careful that when she says to you she's got a sick mother and she can't afford the medicine, or her brother's motorbike's broke down, or she just started working the bar tonight and she doesn't like being there and she's never been with a customer before, just take it with a pinch of salt. But as far as the girls themselves go, they're great. They're good fun. You know, I mean, I've gone into bars and you know, I spent hours by myself and just played Connect 4, the real Connect 4, you know, on the bar, not the Connect 4 that I normally talk about. So I've gone into bars and played Connect 4 and the Jungle, is it Jungle, the wooden sticks, and, you know, you buy them a drink, and even if you're not intending to go back for a roll, but you buy them a drink, and they're good fun, they're nice girls, you know, they've got nice natured, you know. So all I'd say to you, Funk Bringer, thanks for the super chat. When you go there, don't go in with a negative attitude like they're all out to, you know, get one over on you, and you've got to be on your guard all the time. And, you know, don't be, you know, be nice, be friendly, enjoy it. That's what you're going for. Enjoy it. Have a positive attitude, but just, you know, keep your sensible head on. That's the best bit of advice I can give you. Right, Mazza. Matthew Cartwright, yeah, I bet we all stayed at Golden Sands, Mabel, thought we've got the old holiday camps coming up now. What was the one I worked at for a time when I left school? There was another big Pontins. Do you remember Pontins? I worked in Pontins for a while, wasn't there? They had blue coats, not red coats. I wasn't a blue coat. I literally just left school. I was about 16. I was in the steel works and I got fed up with that. It was Pontins, and the job I had was in the kitchens, right? And the job in the kitchens I had, when they made the vegetables, there were these huge, huge drums, and you have a big wooden stick. And my job was to just turn the cabbage, you know, something like it really accelerated my career to the next level. Okay, Franco, just put that up there. Right, Nick says, Nick's black eye could meet Barry the boss. I don't even know who Barry the boss is. Nomi inspector, don't live on a high floor. And I'll add one to that. Don't keep any cable ties in your apartment. Right, a lot of you guys are just talking to each other. The reason I pause is I'm kind of trying to find something to talk about, but you're talking to each other. Right, let's see what Jamie's saying here. I find a key thing that works for me is to have zero content when you return to your home country. Start every trip to Pattaya with a clean slate, no commitments and no problems. Yeah, you've got to basically go there with the right attitude. You know, like I said, you go there with a positive attitude. You're going for a good time, but just keep your wits about you, you know. Right, okay, let's have a look. Pontins had blue coats. Yeah, that's right. They did have blue coats. That's what I was saying, wasn't it? Now, I'm not too keen on that picture. Why did I put that up? Let me put a better one up. What's that one like? Yeah, we'll keep that one up for a while. There we go. That one. That one would suck the gold out of your teeth while you're sleeping. You know, right? Right, Matthew Cartwright, get the whiskey out, Peter. 4 hours straight. I can't. I've got to get up at about 6 tomorrow because the skip's coming at 7 o'clock. Do you know what? I'm going to go back to the original one that was my favorite one. Actually, this one. I'm going to keep that one up. That's a much better one. Right, Jerry, cheers, Mazza. Right, only in Thailand. My local pub landlord had a massive bottle of Bell's whiskey behind the bar that he refilled religiously for years with cheap whiskey. Yeah, it's done everywhere, wasn't it? My mother, who lives in, she's got dementia now. She lived in Haringey in London, and she had some builders in. I don't know what, she didn't tell me where she got it from, but she, you know what you're talking about, those giant bottles of whiskey. Well, she had a giant bottle of vodka. I think she won it in some kind of a raffle, but she wasn't a drinker. My mother's actually Irish. She comes from a small town called Athy in County Kildare. I've never been to Ireland. Okay, I was born in London actually, but she lived in Haringey, and so she had this huge bottle of vodka. It was probably a meter high, a yard high, right? And because she didn't drink, she just stuffed it in the back of the wardrobe, and it was there for years. And she was telling me one time she had some builders come in to do some work, and her house is a terraced house, so you couldn't get to it from the back, so they had to come through the house. So, you know, they're doing work. She left them to it. She made them cups of tea, and she's downstairs making lunch and everything. They're up there on their own. She said about 2 weeks later, she noticed this bottle of vodka that she'd had for years, it was gone. So what they'd done, they'd gone in, spotted this vodka, put a blanket around it or something, and walked out under the arm and stuck it in the back of the transit van. Buggers, really. Okay, so we've got about 444 people in here now. So I think what we're going to do, I'm going to do my last Ladyboy competition from this room, and I've made it a little bit different tonight. So we've got 8 pictures, but unlike the usual Ladyboy competition where there's 1 lady and 7 ladyboys, tonight's competition there are 7 women and there's only 1 ladyboy. Now, you've been apprentices at this for the last 3 years, so I'm expecting a lot of right answers tonight, okay? You've got your stripes, you've done your apprenticeship, okay? So you should get this now. So just tell me, which number is the ladyboy? Right, I sincerely hope that we have a lot of right answers tonight, okay? Remember, we're only looking for 1 number, and that is the lady girl. The rest are women. Right, Matthew Cartwright. No, first answer is wrong. It isn't number 3. No Name says 8. No. Only in Thailand. No. David Leon. Yes, you got it right. Well done to you. Richard Palak. You said don't pronounce the W, so it's Palak. Richard Palak. No. Keenock. No. Max Veit. Mr. Bullet. No. Michael Ward. No. Serge R. No. Joe Pett. No. Paddy Pepsi. No. George Van. No. World Traveller Forever. No. Motel. Yes, you got it right. Louis Leisure. No. Simon Mays. No. Is it Touchy? Torchy? No. Podmaster General. No. Mercy Pool. No. Simon Goodison. No. Barang. Yeah, you got it right. Well done. Fizzy 087. No. Yoz Travels. No. Walk in my shoes. Thailand. No. Nick S. No. Charlie Stewart. Right. No. The Baldy Vlogger. No. GJ. No. Oh wow. Arnold Dolsing. No. Kelly. No. Old Fogey. No. Deek the Trucker. How you doing? No. Mark, no. Rubload, no. Franco, yes, you got it right. Well done, Franco. You just come back from Pattaya, haven't you? Alfreda Jim, yes. Richie, 67, no. Max, no. Red Trip Pound, is it? Something like that. No. Chad N, no. Chaz Brown, yes. Bossa Nova, is it? No. Bernard Rensek, no. Hi, Charles Saunders. In Thailand until I die, no. John Paul, no. Boomer Goomer, no. Brian Street, no. Day Yun Han, no. Paul Scaff, no. Graham, no. Dickie Spats, no. RJ Cooper, no. More than light, yeah, you got it right. Well done. Okay, so I'm just going to read out the right answers now. So if you don't hear your name, you got a wrong answer, right? Michael DiCaprio, you got it right. Who else? Harvey Wisdom, you got it right. Jason, you got it right. Chaz Brown, you got it right. Jerry, you got it right. Who else? There was one there I've just missed. Big Time 911, you got it right. Uncle Nene, you got it right. Any more for any more? The Real Dutch Frang, you got it right. Glenn, you got it right. Kevin Tay, you got it right. Nicholas, you got it right. All the right answers coming now. Right, that's it. Let's put you out of the misery. Remember, we're only looking for the one lady boy. There we go. Last Ladyboy competition from this place here. Right, I'll do a joke of the week. I never do jokes on a Sunday, but I'll do one. I don't expect you to bust a gut laughing at this, but it's quite humorous. A woman places an ad in the local newspaper looking for a man with 3 qualifications. He won't beat me up, he won't run away, and he must be good in bed. 2 days later, her doorbell rings. Hi, I'm Tim. I've got no arms, so I won't beat you, and I've got no legs, so I won't run away. So the woman asks, what makes you think you're going to be good in bed then? The woman, Tim replies, well, I rang the doorbell, didn't I? You know, only about an hour ago, I said I didn't want to be known as a channel that does just things about manga and who invented the manga minute. It's every week. So there you go, 2 different ones tonight. Mark, you said something about only showing her face. That was last week. I said I'd show the whole bodies because it's easier. You can tell from the hands and the feet. But I didn't say I was going to do it every week, did I? Right, Steve again. Where are we? There we are. Getting excited for the missus in her bikini now. Okay, too much information there. Unless you want to send the pictures in and share on Steve, I'll put them up. Okay. Right. Bayou Tom on the loose again. You can thank me over a drink at Why Not Bangkok. Okay. Don't know what that actually means. Check bound. Manga minutes going out on a high, exceptional. Yeah, not going out quite yet. Check bound. Oh, excuse me. One of the girls in that manga minute, I say girls, it was a ladyboy. You know, the one in the pool. I didn't realize when I was making it because I'm more interested in putting the clip together and getting it right so it plays right. And then when I watched it on the manga minute the first time I showed it, I thought, hang on, that's a ladyboy, but it doesn't matter, does it? Okay. I'm struggling to find any comments now where anybody's asking anything. I'll put that up, but I won't repeat that because YouTube will have me for that. Yeah, Peter Parker, you'll be fine when the humidity hits you, leaving Servan. See, I can't pronounce it. I've had so many people write to me and say you say it phonetically, and when I read it the way they told me, I could say it, but I forget, you see, and I can't pronounce the name of the airport. It's Suvan, but I can't say it, you know. Even Capio taught me how to say it. When people teach me how to say it, I read it, I think, yeah, I can say it now, and I just forget. Right, okay. Right, Jess Hughes. Peter, why not Bangkok is a lady boy bar? There is one on Soi 4 across from the SM Grand Hotel, and there's another on Soi down the way. Yeah, I do know some lady boy bars in Bangkok. I don't particularly frequent them, but I don't really understand what the question is, Jesse. You said why not Bangkok is a lady boy bar? What does that mean? I think you need to rewrite it because I don't quite get it. Yeah, see, look, people are teaching me now, and I can say it. It's Suwanapom. Yeah, easy, right? But will I remember that tomorrow? Nope. Right, thank you for that super chat from Road Trip Round. Thank you, very kind of you, very kind. I don't recognize your name, actually. I think you're fairly new into the stream. I hope you'll coming in most week. Best viewer's name on YouTube, Biggest Dickers. Arrived home today after 6 weeks in Pats and Bangkok. Bangkok is way more expensive than Pattaya. I did mention that when a few months ago, and people were like, no, it's not expensive anymore. You're right, it is very compared. You get more value for your money in Pattaya, definitely. Okay, Mike says, what time will the first member stream be at? I don't know about the time, Mike, because I'm going to be in Thailand and I've got to try and play with the times. And I mean, the last time I was doing it was 10 o'clock Thai time, because that was about 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the UK time. I can't get out of bed at 4 or 5 in the morning to do a stream at this time. So I've got to try and figure it out. But there will start first week in April. And as I say, I'll do an hour of the regular stream and then I'll cut it, come back 10 minutes later, and it'll be a members only stream. And like I say, the reason I want to try and bring people in, have, maybe talk about a few things that we don't normally talk about. It will be very similar to regular streams, but the difference is, knowing that everybody in that stream is a member, I'm not so nervous to bring people in or have people say things, because when you've got everybody in, you don't know who's in. People say things that that I don't really want to hear them say sometimes, if that makes sense. Right, Massive Coconuts. Hey, love the channel, Peter. I'm a quiet watcher. I've watching since lockdown days. I'm 31 and want to go to Pattaya for the first time. What soy do you recommend for my first day out in? Well, first of all, thank you for being an avid viewer. I do mean that. And 31, you're probably in the younger end of my viewers. I know a lot of guys are around my age. What I'd say to you, Massive Coconuts, if you haven't been there before, a hotel I'd recommend to you in a great area would be the Nature View Hotel. You can get it for about 800 baht a night. There's loads of hotels, but I stay there regularly. It's very, very good location. But make sure if you stay there, you make sure you get a room on the pool side, because at the front there's a gentleman's club opposite. And it's very noisy. If you're going to be out till 2 in the morning, it doesn't matter. But the reason I say Soy Bacau, because there's a lot of action, LK Metro, Tree Town, there's a lot of bars, and they have these BART buses, they're blue pickup trucks with seats on each side, and they're up and down the road, and you just put your hand up, they'll stop, you give them 10 baht, you can go up and down. There's so much entertainment there. And if you stay in the Nature View Hotel, or it doesn't have to be the Nature View Hotel, but any of the hotels located around Soy Bacau, and then what you can do, you can take motorbike taxis or regular taxis, or you can even walk over the second road. You can go down to the beach road, explore, have a look at Walking Street. I just think that end of town now is a bit quieter compared to Soy Bacau. Soy Bacau is a place you want to kind of stay if you're going there. Right. Thank you to Bogdan Andrio. Cold one for you, mate. It's getting hot here in Thailand. See you in the chat for November. Yeah, absolutely. And cheers to you, my man. Right. Okay. Mark again. Right. Peter, don't get hung up on the UK time. We're all over. Yeah, I know, Mark. But the thing is, people work, people do things. You know, on a Sunday, for instance, I'll tell you, when I live here full time, I feel like I've gone already, but you know, my regular routine on a Sunday, I always had things to do. So on a Sunday morning, I'd go to the co-op, I'd pick up some milk and some bacon, something like that. I'd have my brunch about 11 o'clock. Then I'd think, okay, I'm going to mow the grass because it's a Sunday. I cut the grass, and then it's already 1, 2 o'clock. And then maybe my daughter wanted a lift into town. She drives now. I'm talking back then. And then, you know, the day just gets eaten up, doesn't it? And then you have your dinner about anywhere between 5 and 7. And then around 8, 9, 10, that's when people really start to, you know, either they'll watch YouTube or Netflix or whatever. And when you do a stream at kind of 3, 4 in the afternoon, England time, then you don't get so many. I get so many more viewers when I do the stream in the UK. Like right now, I've got 432 in. I had a few more earlier, right? In Thailand, I'm lucky if I get 300 in. That's because of the time difference. That's all it is. Okay, let's have a look. Beyond Tom on the loose again. But unless the Chinese airlines come back online in a big way, cheap ain't going to happen. Okay. That was something I noticed with the Chinese. Thailand will be my first time. Any advice would be good. I could sit here for 4 hours with advice, Jerry. I've got lots of videos. The titles are self-explanatory. If you really want to dig down, you can do a consultancy session with me. I'm not trying to sell it to you now, but I've got plenty of videos, and there's a lot of people who have made good videos on Thailand. The only ones that say don't listen to too much are the guys who say that they live on $500 a month and they have free bar girls every night. You know, they don't talk about the cost of visas, emergency money, medication, health insurance. Those guys who make those videos, they live on, you know, $600-700 a month above some Chinese laundry, and they get girls for free every night. It's rubbish, absolute rubbish. I can vouch and put my hand on heart and say I know what I'm talking about there. There are guys who get by on £1,000 a month, but they live with their girlfriend in Isan. They eat Thai food. The girlfriend goes to the supermarket, to the market, and buys meat and vegetables very, very cheap, and cooks at home, saka rice. Yeah, you can live like that, a simple life with a girl you love, perhaps. But if you're going to be living in any of the tourist areas, you know, you want a good budget. Okay, Richard. I'm looking forward to coming over in November as a single man now. I get a penthouse booked in Pattaya. Okay, well, Richard, enjoy it, mate. If you've been married and you're now free at last, you know, fill your boots, get out there, do what makes you happy. And as long as you got the budget and you're not hurting anybody, why not? Okay, all right, you talked to someone else there. Right, only in Thailand. BA will not be flying to Thailand again anytime soon because they are making no money on that route. Well, it's BA. I mean, would you fly BA? Right, road trip. I've been watching you for a while over COVID. My name is Robert Scott. I am 58, English, and I live in San Jose, California, and plan to come to Bangkok in October. Would love to meet for dinner or lunch. Well, the thing is, road trip pound, I'll say the same to you as I do everyone else. When you're there, contact me through either an email or some kind of a message through the channel. Give me your line or your number, whatever. I will call you back and I will meet you, but it all depends on what's going on in my life, because I do get a lot of people want to meet up, and I do meet up with a lot of people, but some people just it's the wrong time. I just happen to be going to Pattaya on that the day they want to meet up. They're in town for 3 days, and I'm going to Pattaya, and then they go to Pattaya, and I'm coming back to Bangkok. So yeah, absolutely, just give me a shout. Jess, October, a good time to go to Bangkok. Yeah, excellent. It's high season. There's a lot more people there, but that's when the temperature comes down, but the prices go up. Okay, Jamie 296. The nice thing about flying Thai Airways, it feels like you're on holiday. Has begun as soon as you get on the plane. I've said that for a long time. Either a good airline, very good, but I like Thai Airways, and it's like you just said. You know, when you get on the aircraft, all the Thai trolley dollies, as we used to call them, are all there, and you feel like, here we are, I'm on the Thai Airways, the Thai girls are there. Yeah, you do get into that mood of I'm on my way, don't you? Yeah, it was Jamie 296 who said that. Mazza said, Peter, how about doing 2 streams a week at different times so you can get everyone in the world involved? You you are a big deal now, approaching 50,000 subscribers. I was looking at another YouTuber. He's been going about half the time as me. He's got just under 400 subscribers, but his videos are very, very good. They're very well produced. I think you know who I'm talking about. He used to work in TV and film, and you look at his videos, and even if he's talking about something uninteresting, they're just interesting because he comes across as very positive, and his videos are very well produced. He's obviously can afford to pay camera people now, or he's got people filming him, so it makes it easier to do certain things. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm not on, you know, I'm quite proud of where I've got to. I hope to get that number up when I'm in Thailand, but you can't please everybody all the time, can you? Jerry, ATM, I've got about 4K for a month. I'm not rich, just what I've saved up. Okay, well, so for 4K, you'll have a good holiday, but don't do anything stupid. You know, don't like, you know, well, I won't give you any examples, but £1,000 a week is 40,000 baht a week. Is that after you've paid for your flight and your hotel, I presume? So 40,000 a week. Yeah, that's a good budget. That's a good budget. I've actually seen several times. I've witnessed this with my own eyes. I haven't been told this. I've witnessed it myself. I've seen guys go out to Thailand because they've been fed wrong information. People have told them Thailand's dirt cheap. You know, you don't need much money. You know, you're a handsome guy because you're only 28, and the girls will fall on their heels all over you, and you'll get girls come back with you for nothing. And they've spent the last 3-4 days of their vacation in the hotel room because they ran out of money and they didn't have access to any more money because they're on minimal paid jobs in the UK or America, wherever. They listen to all this horse shit about how cheap Thailand is. They've gone out there on $1,000 for 3 weeks and they've run out of money, you know, because the girls are not going to go back with you free. This is another thing that always makes me laugh, right? You get these guys who are 25, 28, and they go out there and they think just because they're young and they're handsome and they've got nice bodies, they're going to get free aerobics. And it doesn't work like that. Look, I'm 62 now. When I first went to Thailand, I was 31. I'd like to think I wasn't a bad looking guy. Okay. I wasn't fat. I was half the age. I had black hair, you know, and I wasn't a bad looking bloke. Well, when I walked through Pattaya, the girls would be, oh, handsome man, handsome man. It was business, but they called me handsome man. And some of them would say, oh, yeah, you're very handsome. And some of them probably thought I was handsome. Now they call me handsome papa, which really winds me up, okay? But these guys who think that they're going to go to Thailand, these girls are going to fall head over heels for them because they're so handsome, and they're going to go back and, you know, play aerobics all night for free. Absolute dreamers, total dreamers. And the reason for that is because those girls, they're not there because they want to find young guys to bang like a Salvation Army drum all night. That's not what it's about, right? They're there to make money for their families. There's no welfare system in Thailand, right? Or very little. Most of them come from poor communities, farm girls, right? They've had a kid already because of the guy they shacked up with when they were 17. They thought they were going to stay with them for the rest of his life, for the rest of their life, right? He's pissed it up against the wall, gambled and womanized and gone off. Well, she can't go to the government and say, Dad, can you give me a few baht because I've got a kid? You know, there's nothing, right? Unless she's got family to help her. So what do? They get on a bus, they go down to Pattaya, they're working. They need the money. The word is need, not they want, they need the money, okay? Now, these young guys go down there and they're dreamers, they're absolute dreamers. And they have arguments with these girls like, well, I don't pay for it in my own country. You know, I mean, dear, oh dear. Right. Handsome Papa Basanova. Yeah, it does. It winds me up. You know, I'm like, you know, I mean, this last trip, I was walking along with a camera and I walked into Walker Street and there was a Thai guy who was kind of crouched down. He looked up at me. He said, where you go, Papa? And I'm like, get stuffed. You know, I'm not your Papa. But they don't mean any harm by it. All right. Richard O says, I love both 9:35 p.m. flights at Thai and Eva. After an hour in flight, you can smell the food getting ready to be served. A tin of Singer, watch a movie, head down till breakfast, quality time. Yeah, I'm actually on a lunchtime flight, which disappoints me a little bit because I'm the same as you. Now, the thing about, I've never flown business class before, but I've treated myself to business class. Who was that? That was Richard O. And I mentioned this before because the last time I should be flying out of the UK for a long, long time, I thought, sorry, I'm going to get a little bit of money from the house because I've given most to my missus, a deal we did on some, I won't get too personal. But I thought, you know, I'm going to stay in a 5-star. I normally would go in a budget hotel and go economy, right? This time I said, no, I'm going to stay in a 5-star hotel, enjoy myself. I'm going to go business class. What I wanted to do was get to Heathrow, have a few drinks, get on board, glass of champagne, because I'm a VIP, right? Sitting in my business class seat, you get a 5-course meal come round with real cutlery and real stainless steel knife and forks, and then afterwards they bring you a mattress and a blanket, and then they ask you, what would you like for breakfast when you wake up, Mr. Peter? It really is like that, because I've spoken to people who have done it. But the problem is, I'm going on a lunchtime flight, so I would have had a good sleep in the hotel. I don't drink in the daytime. You know why? I've gone over that lots of times. So I'm going to be on this flight. I don't want the glass. I might have the glass of champagne. I don't know. But my whole idea was to get the mattress out, get my head down, have a good 8 hours sleep and wake up refreshed. And then you get into Bangkok at 3:30. You're in your room or your hotel for 5 o'clock. You have a quick shower, dump your clothes, and you're out at 6 o'clock. Perfect, right? But I land at 6:30 in the morning. It's not so bad because I'll go straight to my apartment. I should get back about 9 a.m., unpack, I'll have a little sleep. And but the night flight is better. I totally agree with you. Let me just say thank you to you become a member, Round Trip Proud. Okay, that's great. That's taken me just over the 69 to 70 now. So look forward to seeing you into the streams. Right. Stephen, you need to get your mind out of the Farang entertainment zones. Young guys who hit the Thai clubs like Thong Lord do well without pain. City is bigger than the Farang bar zones. Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Stephen. But what it is, a lot of the guys, the younger guys who go to Thailand, they don't know this. You know it because obviously you've been going there a long time. I know there's nightclubs, MCR and Thong Law, like you said, all these different areas. And even Carlson Road, young guys are attractive to young Thai women, right? And there's a lot of Thai women who got their own businesses or they've got nice jobs and they're not looking for money, okay? But just like you find Asian women attractive, they find foreign men attractive. Maybe not some 60-year-old guy with white hair and a gut on him, but you get some 27-year-old lad guy, who's ripped and he's, got a chiseled face and he's good looking. Well, of course the Thai girls are going to find him attractive and they're not looking for money. And a lot of time these girls will go out to look for foreigners because they want to sleep with these foreigners because they find them attractive. But the problem is these guys who got Thailand, they don't know that. They go to Walking Street, they go to Nana Plaza, they go to Soy Cowboy, and those girls aren't going to go with them for free. So it's a shame really, because you're right, if they went to these nightclubs, some of them do, but unfortunately a lot of them don't. Put that from Franco there. Okay, I thought that said Robert De Niro. I thought we had Robert De Niro in tonight. I was just about to bow and say, I am not worthy. I am not worthy. Right, Roberto it is. Thai have more infrastructure, but trust me, is not so poor. Okay. Yeah, but the thing with Thailand, there's a lot of rich people in Thailand. I'm not saying Thailand's a poor country, but what I'm saying is there is a lot of haves and a lot of have-nots, and a lot of the Eastern's a very prosperous part of the region. People think that if you talk about Eastern, it's completely poor farmers and nobody's got any money. Not in the slightest. There's 4 major cities in Isan. There's a lot of money up there. There's a lot of people who are very, very wealthy. There's 5-star hotels, the racetrack in Buriram. You've got the Sofitel, or it's not the Sofitel anymore, in Khon Kaen. It's a very prosperous region, Isan. But saying that, there are little villages that are scattered around, traditional communities where girls are not educated so much. They get themselves in trouble. And there is still a lot of poverty in Thailand. There's just, as in other countries, there's the haves and the have-nots. Mazza, Jerry, you'll be fine then, mate. I didn't pay for any girls 2017, but ate and drank loads and had some free fun. 2019 was a different story. I went mental as a newly single man in Bangkok and Patong. You wouldn't be the first Mazza to go mental. Fair play to you. Right, Jerry, I'm not looking for bar fines, more beaches and cultural plus food and visiting places. Yeah, so you'll spend less, and it's the women where your money goes. But just be careful, because you will bump into a normal girl in Pattaya who tells you she's just working. What a lot of people also don't realize, a lot of the girls who work in subways, restaurants, all them sort of places, a lot of them, they do freelancing on the side. And that's why a lot of them, it's psychological. And I know this to be a fact, that there's a lot of guys will go into a beer bar and they'll think, okay, full of hookers, right? If I want to go and have some aerobics, I will, and that's it. But these girls are clever and they know. Just say thank you to Peter Dementa. Is it Dementa? No, Damita. Sorry, Dementa. Another new member. Thank you. Great. Look forward to seeing you in the live streams. A lot of these girls, they're very clever, these girls, at what they do. And a lot of them will purposely not work in bars. They'll work in a subway, your local subway, or they'll work in a restaurant, or they'll work in a hotel reception. And a lot of the stories, you'll see guys where they say, oh, I chatted up the receptionist in my hotel and I asked her out for dinner and she agreed. Or I went into Subway and I bought a sandwich and the most beautiful girl I've ever seen was working in there. So these guys, a lot of them, they think, well, because she's working in Subway, that means she doesn't sell herself, because she wouldn't be working in Subway, she'd be in a bar. Or because she works in a hotel reception, she's got a decent job, so she won't do it. And I tell you, probably 90% of the girls in Pattaya or Pattaya who have these kind of jobs, they do go with guys on dates. And what they do, they're very, very clever, because the guy goes in and he'll say, well, she works in reception, so, you know, she's a straight girl. And that girl stands a much greater chance of a guy making that girl his girlfriend and perhaps even marrying her and coming to live in Thailand or taking her to live in his country, because it's much more favorable to do that, isn't it, with a girl who works in a sandwich shop as opposed to a girl who sits in a bar and you look at her and think, well, she goes out with different men every night. So, you know, be careful, because, you know, I've seen it many, many times. I know a lot of these girls to speak to, and that's what they do. And they're not bad girls. They're just trying to maximize their potential to make money. And if they work in a restaurant, you look at them and think, nice girl, works in a restaurant. Now, I'm not painting everybody with the same brush. I'm not being derogatory. I'm just saying you've got to go there with your eyes wide open. And like the guy, I think you're gone now, I can't remember who it was, Jerry, I think it was, going for the first time. He's not interested in bar girls, but he might go in for a Subway or a breakfast somewhere, gets talking to a waitress every morning, and, you know, and thinks, well, yeah, she's nice. And just be careful. Be careful. Right. I'm lecturing now, Jerry. Forgive me. Move off from that. Right. Is it Cracker or Clacker? Peter, is your advice on Pattaya based on experience or internet research? Anything I say on here has got nothing to, I wouldn't say anything from research on the internet, because it's not first-hand information, right? I told you, I've lived and visited Thailand for 31 years. I've had a lot of friends. I've had a lot of interaction with bar girls, go-go dancers, massage girls. I've had friends who have fallen in love with them. I've listened to conversations. I've had guys pour their hearts out to me. I've had their girlfriends tell me why they don't like the guy anymore. A lot of experience. There's no way I'd come on here and give you advice or tell you information from reading something on Google or some other YouTuber's channel, because it wouldn't be right, you know? So sometimes people ask me things and I'll say, look, to be honest, I don't know. Like, people will ask me about ladyboys. You know, if you go into a ladyboy bar, what's the scene? I'll say, look, honestly speaking, I don't know, because I don't go into ladyboy bars. But over the years, I have picked up a lot along the way, like what I've just told you about these girls working in sandwich shops and stuff, because I've seen it with my own eyes many, many times. So rest assured, I'm not giving you false information. Yeah, and that's another one, Bruce. Good point. It says, watch out for the SAS. Jerry, we'll tell you about that one. That's a good put. I made a couple of videos on this. You'll meet a lot of no-hopers in Pattaya who live there. There's a lot of nice guys living in Pattaya, successful people, but there's a lot of guys who hang around the bars, and they'll spin you a story. They'll say they used to work for the SAS, or they were the Queen's Guard, or they were, you know, they were in the special forces and they used to guard Barack Obama, and they could be called up any time, or they're on the run from one of the biggest bank jobs in the UK and they have to lay low until it blows over. Then they'll be millionaires, but the money's hidden away. And most of the time they're wearing a Singer t-shirt, stained shorts and a pair of flip-flops, and they're trying to scam a beer out of you. So that's another thing, you know, just take it with a pinch of salt. What I normally do is just nod and walk away, you know. A lot of those sort of people, like Bruce said. Right, Peter Parker. Joke of the week. Beach Road shut today. Overturned lorry carrying snooker supplies. Long queues in both directions. Okay, very droll, Peter. All right. Did we do that one? Yeah, we did. Let me just check my videos. I haven't missed anything for you tonight. Well, how long have we been going? Wow, 2 hours, 15 minutes. I think I'm going to have to wrap this up soon because of my skip coming in the morning. Right, okay. Funny you should say that. Have said to me twice. Okay, let's get that up. John says, funny you should say that. I'll have that said to me twice entirely. SAS stories. Yeah. And then you get the balloon chasers, don't you? That's the guys who live out there. They've retired out there, normally around Pattaya, and they've retired and they don't have enough money, and they kind of hate tourists because they come there with a lot of cash. And these are the guys, if you leave 100 baht tip, they'll have a go at you and say, you're spoiling it for the rest of us by leaving her 100 baht, you know, because they leave 20 baht or nothing. I've had this myself, right? I've been in a bar and I wouldn't consider anything less than 100 baht if I've been there for half the night, right? I'll give the waitress 100 baht in a hand. And I've had a guy say to me, "You're spoiling it for the rest of it." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, we live here. We can't afford to do that. We don't tip, or we give 20 baht tip or so." I'm like, "Mate, it's nothing to do with me. My business is my business. Your business is your business. It's not. If I'll give 1,000 baht, it's not your concern, right?" Which they don't like. But these are the guys who also look. We call them balloon chasers, because what they do, a lot of bars put on parties for the girls. It's business, right? When they put a load of balloons outside, they normally put on some free food. Thai food. It's simple and cheap, but they do offer free food. And you'll get these guys, we call them balloon chasers, because they look for the bars where they've got the ribbon of balloons around the door, because they know that night they're going to get in there and they'll get free food, right? They probably won't get free drinks, but they'll get free food. And these are the guys, they hop from bar to bar. And I had a guy one time, he said, "Oh, well, I think you're very derogatory, Peter. What's wrong with trying to save your money if you're on a budget?" Yeah, that's fine. I don't have a go at anybody who goes and they're on a budget and they're trying to live cheaply. That's fine. But then you shouldn't be taking advantage of people who are giving free food away, because you're never going to go in there and buy a drink. You're never going to go in there and buy a drink. Then there's the other argument, who people say, oh, bar owners are greedy, and why shouldn't we go in and eat their food? And it just depends how you think about it. It's not something I would do, and I think most guys would have a bit of dignity and not do that. Pupmaster 1, does anyone remember the Winchester bar in Jumped-In on Sunday? It was the best. Yeah, the Winchester Club, that used to be owned by Johnny. Yeah, a good roast, you're right. Okay, Michael Ward, more likes, new members. Okay, but let me just put something on neutral because I'm nearly done. Okay, I'm going off on one tonight. I know, I'm getting carried away. No, because I'm like anybody else. I have strong opinions, and when people say things, they don't make me angry, but sometimes I just feel like I have to defend myself a little bit if people say things that they believe are not really true. Okay, Jerry says, okay, nice chat, and we'll subscribe. Well, I would like you to subscribe, Jerry, because it'd be good to have you in the members only streams. Maybe you won't make it every time, but it's a $5 a month. Come on, and you get the stories and everything. There was a guy at the beginning of the stream, you can put messages up, and he came in and he actually said, "Oh, I'd never buy a membership because I only watch free." And he was actually telling people, "You're mad, don't buy a membership, it's all free, you shouldn't spend your money." And about half a dozen people actually defended me and sort of said to the guy, "Look, if you don't want to buy a membership, piss off, but don't tell us what to do." Michael Ward, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Very good. So sometimes when you're on your own, you're talking to a camera, you think, "Am I going on a little bit?" But anyway, Louis Leisure, get the likes up for Peter. Last UK stream. Well, not the last UK stream. The last Thailand bound headquarters, as it were. I hope to be out of here by Friday. And as I said at the beginning of the stream, I will be doing one more stream from the hotel at Heathrow on Friday. There'll be no pictures in the background. There'll be no manga minutes, no Ladyboy competition. It'll just be a chit chat. I'll tell you what's been going on, and you'll see the hotel room, and the bed will be at the back. So hopefully that will be. I wasn't going to take it that far, hedge fund, but fair enough. Fair play to you. I see you in Ed's stream quite often. When I catch it, sometimes I'll flick through and I see Ed's live. I see you're in there quite a while. There's a few guys in his stream that are never ever coming to my stream, but I was looking at the names. Most of them I've actually blocked them on my stream because they've come in and just give me crap. Yoz, Peter, does it feel like the Great Escape? Not really, Yoz. I mean, it just feels like another chapter in my life, and I'm moving on. I consider myself very, very lucky, because there's a lot of guys, they lose their families or they split up with their wives, and they're just regular guys. They're postmen, they drive a white van, they're taxi drivers. They don't have any savings, they don't have any big money. I'm not rich, but I have some property that I rent out. I make some money from YouTube. I'm experienced with Thailand, so I'm not going to blow my money. I've managed to find a great apartment in a great area for a reasonable rent. I've got my phone sorted out. So I really do. I consider myself very, very lucky that I'm in the position that I know a lot of guys who would be in my position with their families who split, they wouldn't be able to go to a paradise and live the sort of life that I'm going to live. They'd be stuck in a one-room flat, at 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon when it's raining and black and you can't go out, watching Match of the Day or something. So I don't take it for granted. I feel I'm very, very privileged to be able to go out there, and I just hope it lasts. Right, Capio, you have removed your gifted memberships. I haven't removed anything, Capio, because I don't even know how that works. I know one time you came in and you bought about 20 memberships. People say, well, where did I get that membership from? I'm just checking a few texts here that are coming off this stream. Steve, I can't do it, mate. I got a skip coming in the morning. Right. Yeah, I'll have to look into that, Capio, because I don't know how it works. Right, obviously Franco's offering you some advice on that, but I I'm so busy I haven't gone in to have a look. Franco says it's still there. I've just looked. Okay. Jerry again. Do you rent in Thailand? Be nice to know the prices. I'm very, very lucky, Jerry. I found a nice one. If you want to see what I've rented, I've got a video. It's called. It was quite recently. It's called something like how much is it to rent an apartment in Bangkok? Now I'm not obviously going to give you my address because there are nutters out there who threaten me. I told you a few weeks ago there was some lowlife who sent a load of letters to my family. He found my address on the internet from businesses I had. He wrote to my wife and kids, or she wrote to my wife and kids, and basically said they were screwing bar girls every night. I was hiding money in Thailand. I mean, my family laughed at the letters because they've been with me for 33 years, and the guy was so thick. Even on his second letter, he said, "Did you get my first letter?" Well, he sent it in anonymously, so but there are people out there. But back, I'm getting carried away now. Back to what you're asking there. I've made a video. How much does it cost to rent an apartment? Well, that's my apartment when I first moved in. It's much nicer now. I bought a 55-inch TV from the little one that was in there. I've got myself an oven and a printer, and I've got it all nice now. But that's a one-bedroom apartment, and that's very close to. We'll put it this way: it's between Soi 5 and Assault, down one of the soys. It could be 7, 11, 10. I won't tell you exactly where it is, but I paid 20,000 for that. It was 25 before COVID, but it's quite a luxury apartment. It's got a balcony, it's got a washing machine. The security is great. There's 2 security 24 hours a day, so you can't just walk into the apartment, right? Even if you get past them, you need a key tag to get through the glass door to get into the apartment building. There's another security guard at the lifts behind a glass window who watches everybody who comes in, and on top of that, every floor has CCTV all over the lobby and all the floors. So if somebody, did have a real serious grudge for me, they'd have to wait for me to come out because they wouldn't get into the apartment building. But I paid 20 for that. And on top of that, I've got an infinity pool on the roof, and I've got a gym that I can use. Not the best gym in the world, but they've got a couple of running machines, and it's okay. And I think I've got a good deal there. So Paddy Pepsi. So you okay? So you become a member now. Good on you, Paddy Pepsi. Quite a few comments tonight. I was watching you for a while because at one point I thought, is this guy going to go over the edge and start trolling me? But you've been okay, and now that you've joined, and now that I take you as a regular guy, and look forward to seeing you in the member streams. Okay, right. Jason Finch, Peter, what wrong with of girls' work? I don't understand that. Peter, what wrong with of girls' work? Don't know what it means. Honestly, I'm not taking the mick. I don't understand it. Hypercritical reject says, I can't see it either. It must be there because Franco wouldn't have said it was there if it wasn't. Peter Parker, nobody misses Northampton. Okay, so look. Right, check ban. Peter Dementa, I think just a close of a chapter in a book, still being written 3 years, almost to the day, from the first days of lockdown. You know, somebody asked me the other day, because some people say to me, you're mad, you're 63 next birthday, you're going out to Thailand, anything could happen to you. I feel very confident, I'm very happy to go out there. But if truth be told, if somebody said to me, what's the one thing you worry about? Are you paranoid about or anything? Or is there anything you think about? I'll be totally honest with you. The one thing I think about that I'm very nervous about, let's sort this out. The one thing, not very nervous, I'm not paranoid about it, but it does cross my mind. And that is my health. I mean, I am going to do something about it when I'm there. I'm going to go to the gym and cut down my carbs on that. That's my input, right? But even so, it does worry me. Will I be walking around the MBK Centre and I'll have a heart attack? You know what the traffic's like. They'll chuck me in the back of a pickup truck. They'll ride to the hospital. They'll probably kill me. But, I'm not, health insurance and all that doesn't bother me. I've made up my mind now. I think health insurance sucks, right? I just don't like them. After, you know where I'm going with this. I made the video. I don't need to say anything more, right? Self-insurance for me is a way to go. People have written to me and said, oh, you're mad if you think you're going to have enough money. What happens if you get cancer? What happens? I can come back and use the national health. But the only thing, for me, the only thing that concerns me, and doesn't worry me, but it just crossed my mind is, if something serious happens to me, like I have a heart attack, a stroke, dementia, that crosses my mind, and that is something that does kind of concern me. But other than that, I'm not bothered about, anything else in Thailand. I'm really looking forward to it. The only other thing that worries me, will I be able to keep my YouTube channel entertaining enough to be able to keep some people coming to subscribe? Will people get bored with me? Will I find enough content that's different to everybody else? I want to keep it interesting as much as I can. I've said to you a long time ago, years ago, actually, when I first started, the people who I've seen make videos and they say, well, I'm going to go out to Thailand. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and I'm going to live off that. They're totally dreaming, because those people, one, it takes you years before you make any money, unless you're a superstar, like some of these guys are. It takes a long time, but I worked on here 18 months, 40 hours a week, 30 hours a week, without exaggeration. I didn't make a penny for 18 months. Now, if you go into it with a passion, you enjoy it, you want to make travel videos and stuff, the money will eventually follow. But the guys who go out there and they say, oh, I'm going to make a YouTube channel and live off the proceeds, they're dreaming, total dreamers. Right, okay. We're nearly there, 2.5 hours, guys. I think that's about it. Who's that? Joe Pett. Yeah, another new member there. Thank you, Joe. Did I mention you earlier? Stephen Forex. You've been in the stream for a long time, Stephen. I do remember. He means, okay, he's saying he means what's wrong with working girls, I believe. He's not a troll. No, I didn't say he was a troll. I just didn't understand the comment. He's a legend, Finchy. Okay, so what's wrong with working girls? Nothing. I've never said there's anything wrong with working girls. All I've said in the past is they're very nice, they're good fun. There's no harm in taking them as holiday girlfriends, but keep your guard up. You're unlikely to have a serious relationship. You're unlikely to have a successful relationship with a go-go bar girl or a beer bar girl. It does happen. Look at the stories I've just told this Saturday. The guy met a girl working in a beer bar in Phuket. They're married, very successful. But I've never ever said anything derogatory about bar girls, and I've never said you shouldn't have fun with them. All I'm saying is be careful. Okay, Tulin Full. Hello, Peter from California. I'm a long-time viewer, but this is the first time that I've caught you live. It's probably because I've been going for 2.5 hours. I normally try to cap it at about 2 hours, but it's the last one here. I'm trying to string it out a little bit more. The problem is at the beginning of a stream, you get a lot of comments come in, and a lot of the comments are people's opinions and questions, and there's a lot of content to talk about. You can address all this. But as the stream comes on and people have a few drinks or whatever, people start saying hello to each other. And so you get a lot of comments, but you can't actually read anything out because they're just saying, hi, are you? Good to see you in the stream. And, but I'll get the occasional one comes through and I'll pick up them. Right, this one, for instance, Mazza. Peter, I'll be in Kettering in 2 weeks to watch my son play an important football match. You gave him a shout out a few months ago. He loved it. Okay, well, if he was with you now, I'd give him another shout out. Yeah, Kettering. What can I say? Went there once, it was closed. Franco, you must be getting tired. Franco gets tired now. You're still getting stick from the boys on the other side. Stephen 4X, okay. That's another person-to-person message. Road trip proud again. I just went through an awful divorce and she has turned my children against me. I need a new chapter in my life and happiness. I know, guys, this has happened to it. It can become very vicious and very ugly when you separate with a woman. I'm extremely lucky. But, okay, my wife and myself, we've argued like cat and dog for years. But like I said earlier, it's forgotten about. We can have a big fight about something. I'll go out and she'll come back and say, can you go to the shop? It's forgotten. I feel very, very lucky because, we haven't involved solicitors, lawyers in America. We haven't involved them. We haven't threatened each other with this. We've made an agreement. I had an agreement made up. I signed it. She signed it. And all that was, I've got a few rental properties, small properties, and I agreed to give her the majority of the cash from this house. I paid off the mortgage, but there's enough left over for her to buy herself a nice new 3-bedroom semi, which she's now done. Very nice, single garage, 3 bedrooms. Her and my younger daughter will live there. And I want to do that because, even though I'm not going to be living with her anymore, I want to make sure they're taken care of. I still care for them. I was with her for 33 years, right? So, but I'm very, very lucky that I'm not in the position that you're in, Road Trip Proud, when you said, she turned your children against you. It was very ugly. It was very sour. I haven't had that. We're going away almost shaking hands, I know that sounds a bit corny, but that is like that. So I'm very lucky. Cashier, regarding the work and go relationship, you said it's perfectly nothing wrong with a bit of fun, but you rarely successful long term. So plan accordingly. Yeah, and I still think that today. So what I'm saying is, if you go to Thailand for fun and you meet bar girls and all the rest of it, yeah, you can have fun. You can pay them a couple of weeks and have them on holiday girlfriends. But you know, the thing is, if you want them to be like, you know, you're intending to marry them or something, it's very rare that it works out, but it does work out sometimes because you've heard the stories. Let's move off from this now because I'm no marriage expert. Am I? Chris, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in the stream for months and months and months. Been off the channel for a while. Are you going over to Thailand permanently soon? This weekend, Chris. We've gone there. We've done it 2.5 hours ago. Separating from the wife, sold the house. House sales going through on Friday. Frankel's taking me down to the airport, booked into a 5-star hotel, business class all the way, into my apartment, and hopefully there'll be a friend or two waiting for me. Right, where are we? Okay. Right, okay, I think I'm done, guys. What I'm going to do, because this is my very last stream in this room, I'm going to do the 2 Manga minutes again, back to back. This will take us to about 3 minutes. I'll come back in and just answer a couple more comments, and then that'll be it, okay? Which one was it now? This one. Okay, that should make up for the hotel next Friday when I don't have any Manga minutes. Okay, I just want to read this out very quickly, and it's a very good question, actually. It says, Ricky says, what's keeping you from a full divorce, Peter? Well, there's a couple of things, Rick. We want to keep that kind of bond, you know, because we don't hate each other. And I actually don't have any family now. You know, my mother's passed away, father's passed away, no brothers or sisters as such, not real brothers and sisters anyway. And when I go, I don't want my wife and kids to have any problems getting hold of what I own, because I've got nobody else to leave it to. I'm not going to leave it to some cat's home in Battersea, am I? So when I go, yeah, I can leave a will, and I've done that anyway. But I want to make it as easy as I can for them. So when I kick my clogs and I finally go to see the big man up there, you know, I just want to make it easy. I'm not particularly wanting to get married again, neither is she. So it's just something we've decided to do. Right, Mazza says, I'm off to water my daisies. You'll see where the daisy patch. Franco's seen the daisy patch today. He came round here. I'm giving Franco a few bits and pieces that I can't take with me. So Franco's, you know, he'll have it all. Right, Tony. Jason Finch was in a car accident and disabled, so please don't. Okay, right. Okay, we're nearly there, I think. See if there's any more at the end here. Okay, right. Okay, that's me done and dusted, guys. Over 2.5 hours. Like I say, this is the last stream from in here. It's quite emotional because I've done a lot in here, you know, all the stories. And let me just get that ready. Yeah, you know, all the stories I've done over the last sort of 2-3 years have all been done from this very seat here. And, you know, it's sad, isn't it, really? It's the end of an era. But I've had a good time. I hope you guys have had a good time. I'm not dead. I'm not going up. I haven't died, and I'm not going anywhere, but I'm just saying I won't be in this location. Tomorrow, I'm going to strip this completely down, okay? And the next stream you see me at that I've advertised already, I'll be in a hotel at the airport. So fingers and toes crossed that all goes well. So I'm going to thank all those generous people out there who gave me a super chat tonight. I really, really appreciate it. It is great to get that. You know, who doesn't like a bit of cash on the side, right? Beer money. Thank you, you guys. I want to say thank you to all the new members, and there's lots of them over the last few weeks. Hopefully it'll be worth your $5 a month or whatever. Of course, thank you for Franco in the background there. He stayed up late. He's taking me to the airport on Friday. And that's pretty much it. So thanks a lot, guys. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Until Friday, you have a good week, okay?